but you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there. You can feel it.
Get up on out the bed, start to move your balls. Wake up a word in Solomon Jones. Word. You better wake up now.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. And I want to welcome you to another edition of Wake Up with Word. So, Koisa, it wasn't a battle, but we have a tradition, right? Every year we normally put candy canes on the Christmas tree. We did that when the kids were little. Now they are not little. As a matter of fact, Solomon's taller than me, and Eve is driving. So the kids once again demanded that there be some candy canes on the tree and some decorations from when they were like in pre-K. Now they like 16 and 19 now, but they still want those pre-K decorations on the tree as well. So we have done that, and I don't know if you could see the candy canes and stuff. What do you think?
I can see the candy canes. And it looks good. It does. I see a couple new, some new ornaments on there too.
Couple of new ornaments.
I see that.
Yeah, that's from the pre-K days when they were like 4. Yeah, so that's the tradition, and they have done that, and so here we are. So I might be eating some candy canes during the show. Don't pay it no mind. All right, just act like you don't see it.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, this has been a crazy week, man. We learned that the Russians hacked the U.S. government. We mourned as 3,500 Americans died from COVID in a single day, and we watched as the president said nothing about any of it. Now, I don't know why Donald Trump is so consumed with losing the election that he can't seem to focus on anything else. I don't know if he's too selfish to empathize with everyday Americans. I don't know if he's too childish to deal with adult issues. I don't know if he understands that the country is in crisis. But we have to understand this much. If the president is not capable of caring for the people have to care for themselves. That means this holiday season, we have to do what's right, even if our leaders do what's wrong. It means we have to move past the politics and move into purpose. It means we have to run ourselves until we get new leaders to run the country. On January 20th, we'll finally have some adults in the room. Until then, we'll have to take care of ourselves. We got a hot show for you today on Wake Up with Word. David Lapp of Research for Action on the lack of black and brown teachers in Pennsylvania schools. Taylor Allen of Plan Philly on West Philly renters facing possible displacement. And the mayor's plan to incorporate more black and brown advisors into the next master plan. Financial advisor Akbar Hassan has your money advice. And as always, we've got you, our listeners, calling in at 215-634-8065, a toll-free 1-866-361-0900. Hit us on Twitter and Instagram at onWURD, or you can hit me personally at Solomon Jones 1. Watch us on Facebook at forward. But first, it's the big 3, the news stories you need to know to kick off your day right here on Wake Up with Word. Story number 1, the dash cam video captured a horrific scene. A Kansas sheriff's deputy in a patrol truck mowing down a black man who was running shirtless across a field in the summer darkness after fleeing a traffic stop. Lionel Womack, a 35-year-old former police detective from Kansas City, Kansas, alleges in an excessive force lawsuit filed Thursday that he sustained serious injuries when Kiowa County Sheriff's Deputy Jeremy Rodriguez intentionally drove over him during the August 15th encounter. Womack said in a statement that he hadn't been speeding, nor was he under the influence of anything when he was initially pulled over. His driver's license, insurance, and registration were up to date. When the first officer turned his lights on, I pulled over and complied exactly as you're supposed to. But when 3 additional vehicles pulled up quickly and started to surround my car, I freaked out. That's when I took off. It was a fight or flight moment, and I was going to live, he said. I felt like I was in danger. This was out in the country late at night, and it was dark, so I ran for my life. That's what you see in the dash cam video. I'm running in an open field, and I'm scared. The graphic video is at the crux of the federal civil rights case filed by attorney Michael Kugelman against the deputy in U.S. District Court in Kansas. The lawsuit argues that Rodriguez used excessive force and was callously indifferent to Womack's civil rights. So it's crazy, man. This dude runs from a traffic stop, and they run him over with like an SUV-like vehicle that is the police vehicle. It reminds me of the gentleman that got shot 8 times in the back at a traffic stop, and then the cop tried to plant a taser on him, but a passerby happened to videotape it, and now he's in jail. Walter Scott was the man who was shot that way. This is crazy, man, but I think black people are paranoid now because of all that we have seen with these police interactions, and unfortunately, this man was injured because of it. Thank God he lived through the encounter. Kawesa, what do you think?
I feel like he has every right to be paranoid, just like most of us have every right to be paranoid. Every time we turn around, there's something traumatic happening to our people. Just the other day we were talking about the social worker who was in her apartment naked, and and now we're talking about this. And so I think that we have every right to have fears about the police, and that should not be the case. It really should not be the case at all, because they are supposed to be there to protect and serve, but we are not feeling very protected when it comes to our situations with the police. I saw the video of what happened to this man, and it was terrifying. I mean, gut-wrenching. Yeah. It really was. My mouth was open. I'm like, the man he doesn't have a weapon. He's not doing anything to cause you any type of bodily harm. And you literally plowed him down with a motor vehicle. And then it looked like he was trying to back up on him too. Ridiculous. My mouth was open. I couldn't even believe what it was that I was seeing. And to be perfectly clear, this officer is still on patrol.
Yep, absolutely. So they called for his firing. The sheriff has refused to fire him or even take him off the street. Normally, in a police department, if there is an officer that is involved in something like this, he'll be put on desk duty until the investigation is over. The other thing that happened is another agency got wind of it that really is a bigger agency in Kansas, and they said, look, do you want us to help you with the investigation? They was like, nah, we got it. I mean, I'm glad the man lived through it, right? But this is the kind of thing that we have been talking about. This is why there is a Black Lives Matter movement. This is why people are tired of it and are taken to the streets by the millions. This is why it's not just black people protesting anymore. This is wrong. And the deep thing to me is this, that the guy who ran from the traffic stop and was scared and recognized the situation was dangerous for him, being on a back road in the middle of the night in some little small hick town in Kansas, was a former police officer. So he knew. He like, look, I got to get out of here, man. So we're going to talk about that, but also got to talk about this. Story number 2, federal authorities expressed increased alarm Thursday about an intrusion into U.S. and other computer systems around the globe that officials suspect was carried out by Russian hackers. That's right, the Russians are at it again. The nation's cybersecurity agency warned of a grave risk to government and private networks. The Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency said in its most detailed comments yet that the intrusion had compromised federal agencies as well as critical infrastructure in a sophisticated attack that was hard to detect and will be difficult to undo. CISA did not say which agencies or infrastructure had been breached or what information taken in an attack that it previously said appeared to have begun in March. This threat actor has demonstrated sophistication and complex tradecraft in these intrusions, the agency said in its unusual alert. CISA expects that removing the threat actor from compromised environments will be highly complex and challenging. In other words, these were hackers that knew what they were doing. These were hackers that were probably sponsored by a government. These are not kids in the basement with their drawers on in the mother's house. These are actual people who do this for a living. And so this is a government, and they believe it's the Russian government. And so they are at it again. Donald Trump has said nothing. Kawesa, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think that it's a coincidence because, he is very good bedfellows with Putin. That's how I feel in regards to that. So I don't think it's a coincidence that this is happening, as Trump is leaving office. And then also, didn't Trump get rid of the cybersecurity advisor as well. So that's another thing. Like, maybe this wouldn't have happened, or maybe we wouldn't have been so open to so much exposure if there was somebody in the position. And you know why he got rid of someone in that position? Because he was trying to downplay Russian involvement in the election previously. And so, you know, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm not surprised, but I do really want to know what the extent of the hack was, because I'm like, well, shoot, you know, did they get Social Security numbers? Look, my credit's good. Like, if you're gonna hack something, Russia, can you hack my student loans? Like, can we clear that out? Because I would really appreciate that, you know. So
I'm
anyway.
gonna tell you how bad it is. They gonna have somebody here that's white talk about their name is Kawesa Mathis.
Right, and I'm like, no,
that
why?
bad. Look, man, they gonna have Russians here like, look, I'm Solomon Jones. Like, wait a minute, what? I'm trying to tell you. But that brings me to story number 3, my commentary for the day. Now, imagine this. Imagine you've just lost your spouse and your daughter in a helicopter crash. Deputies at the scene take pictures of the mangled bodies and share them publicly. Social media shares false stories and spreads them widely. You learn that the helicopter pilot should not have flown in the bad weather that day, and you suffer unspeakable grief because the whole thing could have been avoided. To make matters worse, your spouse was rich and famous, and in the age of instant communication, every detail of your loss is shared with the world. And then, after months of grieving, when things are just getting back to normal, your own mother files a lawsuit against you, demanding that you provide her with $5 million, a house, and a Mercedes SUV. That's what Vanessa Bryant says she experienced after her husband, Kobe Bryant, and their daughter, Gianna, were killed in a helicopter crash. Vanessa Bryant's mother, Sophia Lane, is suing Vanessa, claiming that Kobe Bryant promised to take care of her for the rest of her life, and now that he's gone, the responsibility falls to her daughter. Vanessa Bryant calls the suit, in which her mother claims she was a longtime personal assistant and nanny for the family, frivolous, disgraceful, and unimaginably hurtful. I can't even fathom how painful this might be. But the one thing I know for certain is this: nothing matters more than the people we love. Not money, not houses, and certainly not a Mercedes SUV. At a time when a virus has killed 300,000 Americans in just a matter of months, all of us should learn the lesson Vanessa Bryant did when her husband and daughter were snatched away. Life is fragile. Life is temporary. And we shouldn't waste 1 minute of it hurting the people who matter most. I want to talk about family this morning. I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. When I saw this story, my heart broke, because I think that we live in a society where we value stuff over people. We value things over people. We value possessions over people. And I think that we are in the position we are in it as a society because we put somebody in charge who values things over people, stuff over people, money over people. This guy has spent his whole life really cheating people out of money. We knew this before he became president, right? You know, people would do work for him on his casinos, significant work worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. He would wait until they got to the end and say, I'm not satisfied with the work, I'll give you half. And then keep going to court until they acquiesce, like until they ran out of money, until they couldn't pay lawyers anymore to defend themselves. This is what this dude has done over and over and over and over again. I'm paying thousands of dollars in taxes. He got $1 billion and paying $750. Valuing things over people. This is why, you get 3 different wives, because you value things over people. This is why you build a hotel down the street from the White House when you have an emoluments clause in the Constitution that says you should not be taking money from foreign governments, foreign people, foreign actors, but you do it anyway and claim that doesn't apply to you. This is why the Russians feel comfortable hacking into our government, because I believe they got something on him because he values things over people. I want to talk about relationships. I want to talk about family. I want to talk about why you have mothers suing daughters trying to get a Mercedes SUV. This is not just about Vanessa Bryant and her case. That's salacious or whatever. It's something to talk about. But really, I need us to really examine what's most important to us at a time when you've seen 300,000 people die from a virus that you didn't expect in just a matter of months. After you've seen millions of people lose their jobs as a result of this virus in just a couple of months. After you see people standing in food lines that were just standing on top of the world. I want to talk about what's important. So I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Come on, man. I just think that we have to take a step back and realize what really matters, because our life could be gone in an instant. Kobe Bryant was gone in an instant. His daughter was gone in an instant. His wife grieving for months. I can't imagine the grief, man. I can't imagine burying one of my children. I can't, let alone my wife. I can't imagine that, man. And so to compound that with a family member coming and saying, I'm going to take you to court. No, first I'm going to go and do an interview about it. And then I'm going to take you to court. Oh, Kobe promised to take care of me for the rest of his life. But, it don't even sound right. Do you have it in writing? Is there a contract? Okay, case dismissed. But the damage is already done. We can't value things over people. We can't value stuff over people. We can't hurt the people who matter most, because guess what? When the rubber hits the road, they all you got. Those people who smile in your face because you might have a couple dollars, or those people who want to be around you because you're well known, or any of that. At the end of the day, all that you have in life, man, is those relationships that matter most. Because the stuff is temporary. When they bury you, they don't take the stuff with you. So I want to hear from you. I want to talk about that, but we also have to talk about this incident in Kansas where this man gets run over by a police vehicle in the middle of the night. He running through a field. He's a former police officer, and he recognizes the danger of a situation in being in this little small town on a back road, stopped by the cops, 3 more arrive. They speeding up like he killed somebody. He runs. And they run him over in a vehicle. Could have killed him. And the officer who did it is still on patrol. I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
This message is from the Philadelphia Department of Public Health. COVID-19 is still a threat in our communities, but we can all do something simple to help stop the spread. It's critically important to wear a mask or face covering whenever you're in public or around others. Yes, even while social distancing. Wearing a mask shows you care for yourself and your community and is essential to slowing the spread of COVID-19. So love yourself, love your neighbors, wear a mask.
Hi, this is Jeff Brown from Brown's Family ShopRites and Fresh Grocers. Are you thinking about a part-time job to help out with the cost of the holidays? We have plenty of openings. You can apply online at shoprite.com/careers or freshgrocer.com/careers. Come join the Brown family today and help us serve the people of Philadelphia. Have a great holiday.
Hi, my name is Bobby Heenan, City Council member. The best way to show your brotherly love and sisterly affection is by keeping your social distance. If you and I keep our social distance from each other 6 feet apart at all times, it lessens the chance that I could spread the coronavirus to you or that you'll spread it to me. You must also wear a mask. A mask does not replace 6 feet, though. To receive updates about what Philly is doing, text COVID-PHL to 888-777 and have a safe day.
Want to buy black for the holidays? Word Radio has got you covered. WURD is proud to present our virtual holiday marketplace online. Support local, small, Black-owned businesses through the marketplace and purchase your holiday gifts today. Visit wordradio.com/marketplace or wordworks.com/marketplace. Now, a traffic update on Word Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Audible. 95 southbound, a little busy coming down through Bridge through construction. Again, Allegheny through Girard, northbound side, still not a problem there. Westbound Vine Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway, some light volume. Schuylkill eastbound busy. Gladwin from Blue Route through Gladwin, accident there is off to the shoulder. Westbound side getting heavy from University through the Vine Expressway through that construction. PA Turnpike, Blue Route 476 moving fine. 42, 55, not bad. 55 north, actually a little slow north of Deptford now into 42 as that volume slowly builds. 'Tis the season to treat yourself to Audible with the Audible holiday offer. Get the newest all-you-can-listen plan, Audible Plus, for just $4.95 a month for your first 6 months. Listen without limit to thousands of Audible originals, audiobooks, and now podcasts. Go to audible.com. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on Word Radio, 96.1 FM, and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. And I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. We are, of course, taking your calls at 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio and let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning's show. So a number of things have happened, including a car stop that went bad in a small town in Kansas. Lionel Womack, a 35-year-old former police detective from Kansas City, Kansas, alleges in an excessive force lawsuit filed Thursday that he sustained serious injuries when Kiowa County Sheriff's Deputy Jeremy Rodriguez intentionally drove over him during the August 15th encounter. So that happened, as well as the fact that we're finding out that Russians have hacked computer systems in the U.S. and around the globe that officials suspect, the Russians carried out. So the nation's cybersecurity agency warned of a grave risk to government and private networks. And, of course, story number 3, a heartbreaking story, really. Vanessa Bryant loses her husband and her daughter in a helicopter crash. And months later, her mother sues her for $5 million, a house, and a Mercedes SUV. And, I just think that we have to take a step back and realize what's important in life and realize that this culture of materialism that we live in is not really our culture. Right now, as Black people, I'm saying we have to realize that, right? That that family ties really are everything. That the people who are close to you, the people who are your family, that these things matter. And I'm afraid that as we live in a society that is so materialistic in nature, that we can forget who we are. Now, Vanessa Bryant, of course, not Black, but I think the issue for us is that we can't get caught up in that mess. And when I look at what's happening, just my heart goes out, man, because I can't understand that. My family relationships mean the world to me. And so I can't understand a mother suing a daughter for some money and a house and a car. I can't. Under any circumstances, I can't understand that. Y'all work that out. But I think that it's something that we have to talk about within our community, because I think that when you look at some of the murders that are happening in our community, when you look at some of the morals that we're embracing in our community, a lot of it comes down to a love of money. And the love of money is the root of all evil. You know, and so I think we got to talk about that too. So I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Ken from West Philly is on line one. Go ahead, Ken.
Greetings, comrades, sisters, and brothers. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. Why are your people hacking the government?
Hey, man, they not my people.
You Ken the communist, ain't you?
Hey, yeah, and guess what? The Communist Party of the Soviet Union hasn't been in command of Russia since 1991, and we hate Putin, hate him with a vengeance. And the key thing is we got to get that guy out of office, which is what's going on over there. A whole bunch of people. And we as the Communist Party, I'm not speaking for the Communist Party, you know, I as a communist, I really think that this guy has been out of his mind. He's the richest guy in the entirety of the old Soviet Union, which doesn't exist right now, but a lot of people there, I'm in contact with them, are trying to bring it back on board so it'll be pro the people as opposed to pro the capitalists who've taken over the Soviet Union. So let's get that right first, okay?
All right, I'm saying they still, they you know.
That's the key. So that's the key. Because
so they're not communists anymore. They got their democracy now.
The guys who run in the government, they're worse than Trump. And that's the fact. They're all right in some ways, but they're worse than Trump. But the reality of it is I've lost 5 folk, brother. 5 folk to this COVID violence.
Yeah, man.
And I call it violence because this cat in the office at the White House, he is out of his mind. If anybody voted for him who looks like me, you are out of your mind. Because I'm going to tell you something. This cat's pulling the genocide thing. Talked to some people who's with, you know, the Me and Woman March yesterday. They're doing a petition going into the United Nations in 3 years. This is going to be on We Charge Genocide, which the party was doing back inside the 50s, you know. There's a book called We Charge Genocide. You know, this guy Trump, this is specific. All of y'all, you got to get out here and make sure, I got family both sides down in Georgia, make sure that we can crush Trump's internal stuff. Even with him gone, there's a guy who's sitting inside of the Senate, and he heads the Senate right now. 2 of the people who are running in Georgia are going to replace the senators who are down there. One woman down there been within photos with a guy in the Ku Klux Klan. He's supposed to be an ex-Ku Klux Klan twice. And she's running against a black reverend who's down there who needs to get all of our votes. We can't vote down there, but we can do the other thing. Get on the phone. Talk to your people. Everybody down there inside Georgia, get them on the phone. Tell them, hey, look, get out there and vote. Early voting in Georgia starts now, and we got to hurt Trump with this stuff. We can do that. You know, get on the phone. If you're in a union, look up the AFL-CIO. I just got off a training last night with the AFL-CIO folks. And they got this thing where you text message and you telephone a whole list of about 150,000 people. Get on the phone, find out who it is. Look up the Working Families Party. They're working, I saw them. They're working down there in Georgia. Working Families Party's also here. I met them here. We did an interview with them. Hey, look, get down on the phone. Get to work. Make sure Trump's boys and girls, this woman that this brother who's a minister is running against, I tell you, she is a billionaire. She's a billionaire. She's gotten her house reduced so that she doesn't pay $500,000 additional in taxes.
Right.
The real estate. I mean, this woman is studs. And the guy who's running, who's also a Republican with her, believe it or not, he's scuds and he's rich. These folks don't want to even, and have voted. The woman, she got appointed. She never got voted in. These people refuse to give you $600 to $1,200. They're over there inside of the Senate saying you don't need it. But
I hear you, man, and you know there's a litany of complaints against them, but you know we've been talking about this for a while, and I agree with you that we have to do what we have to do to help get the vote out in Georgia. I did send a couple of donations actually to the candidates in Georgia. John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock are their names. John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock are their names. Those are candidates that I'm supporting for the Senate in Georgia. Because if Republicans maintain control of the Senate, they are going to try to stonewall anything that that Joe Biden tries to do. That's just the reality. We have to recognize that and realize that and move forward with that knowledge as our guide. Let's talk to Miss Mary from Winfield on line 2. Go ahead, Miss Mary.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm fine, and happy Friday.
Thank you. Same to you.
You're so on point this morning with everything.
Thank
want to go to Kobe Bryant's wife. The mother grieved. And as you said, money is the root of all evil. That's just greed, okay? And even if you get all that, how you want to maintain it? Since he said that he would take care of you, but we got something in the United States and the world called maintenance. Home, car, and everything else. My family means the world to me. That's why I am who I am in my family. COVID has kept us separated a whole lot, but I'm learning to deal with that. And as you said early on, that's not us anyway. We don't do that. That's the mentality that's going on with our young folks. Looking at everything on TV, looking at the movies. I want this, I got to have that. It's just crazy. But to get to Washington, he owes Putin worse than a hard-won slop. And he has to pay. He has not paid nobody, paid China, some other countries, but he owes them. He really owes them because he lost the election. He didn't win the election. But at any rate, he needs to be gone. I thank God he is going. As you always say, we just got to keep looking and watching everything. And thank God that former police officer didn't get killed. But they're running us down and hunting us down, whether it be male or female, like they did in slavery time. And that was my thought pattern when I heard that story. It's just unbelievable, but we know prayer changes things, and we want to keep on praying and looking to the hills from which cometh our help. You stay blessed, healthy, your family, and thank you for taking my call.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
One.
Okay, you too, Miss Mary, and thank you so much. 215-634-8065 is the number. Let's talk to Tony from North Philly on line 3. Go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, good morning, Solomon.
Morning.
So good morning. Solomon, you know how I see this? This wasn't no cyber attack. This is like a merger. This all started in 2016. This is a merger. Russia just the fall guys, the hammer and sickle, Ben fell. You know what I'm saying? This is a merger, man, and that's why we got to stand up for this country and this democracy. You see what I'm saying? The hammer and sickle, Ben fell. They just the fall guys. Oh, I know what I want to say. The saying goes that Dracula can't come in your house unless you invite him in. Peace.
All right, man. I want to thank you for your call. That's interesting. That is interesting. So 215-634-8065. Kwesi, you might got a point.
He might have a point. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that, that with this happening, and like I said earlier, the fact that Trump is headed out of office and this happens, and they suspect that it's Russia. Like, this is, to me, it's not a coincidence. It really isn't. I think that there might be something to be had there, but we don't really fully know. Also, I think that I think Putin acknowledged Biden as president before our own people did, the Republicans. So I'm just like, what's really going on? I don't know. I have questions, but
I do too. But when he said Dracula can't come in unless you invite him in, remember when Trump was on the campaign trail and he was like, Russia, if you're listening, we need to see Hillary Clinton's emails. You remember that? He invited them to hack the emails of the former Secretary of State of the United States. Think about that. He invited them into the White House, was glad-handed and telling them classified information because he doesn't understand, what you're supposed to say and what you're not supposed to say as the president. Like, he ignored the briefings that they would give him. He was distracted when they were trying to tell him, this is what's going on internationally, Mr. President. These are the things that you need to know. Like, this dude was a clown in the White House, and he was clowning for Putin. When Putin hacked the election, he never said anything about it, stood right next to him, never said anything about it. Every intelligence agency in the United States telling him the Russians did it, and he like, well, maybe they didn't, and I don't believe the intelligence agency. So you telling me you siding with a foreign adversary over your own intelligence agencies? Man, this dude never cared about the country. So to see the Russians now hacking everything, they're getting their last in before Joe Biden gets in office and actually has some people in who actually know what they're doing, and he didn't get off Fox News. So, I mean, it's, you know, I'm not surprised at all, man. I want to hear from you. Give me a call. 215-634-8065 is the number. Of course, you can also weigh in on Facebook at ForWord. That's FORWURD, FORWURD, and let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning's show. Kawesa, what are they saying this morning on Facebook?
Well, we do have quite a few folks weighing in and saying good morning. So first off, I'll say good morning to Doris Abdul-Mateen, also Atia Hicks, Cheryl Brown, Kathleen West. Good morning to all of you. Nikki Carter, Gail Robinson, thank you all so much for tuning in. Diane Hamilton Mitchell, thank you so much for getting in here and just saying hi to us and checking us out. And Sharon Lane, good morning to you as well. And we do have a couple of comments. I was trying to quickly scan through to grab them because I know a few people had weighed in on Kobe Bryant, but Dolores Davis says, good morning, King and Queen and all the WURD family. Ears are open and brain waiting to absorb all facts and knowledge to know where we have to put our work in. Enjoy the day. And then Mary Melly Briggs says, it's sad that a mother places greed over the need and support that her daughter and grandchildren still need. I don't believe VB's mother, she would have had those things while Kobe was still alive because he was already financially stable. Nikki Carter said, it's sad Vanessa has to go through that. She has been doing this for so long. I think his parents saw this happening. People have become so entitled and things driven, basing every value they have on what they have. That is sad. I pray those leeches away, the worst kind. So that's another comment. Winona Hayes Poole, good morning to you as well. And I know that we had a couple other folks weighing in. Arlene Wright, good morning to you as well. And Viola Richburg Gray, good morning to you also. So those are just a few comments, though, that we have on our Facebook page right now.
Yeah. So we are going to go to break. The time is 7:40 a.m. and the temperature is 27 degrees. It's sponsored by the Beach Companies, serving the community for 30 years. For more information, check out beachcompanies.com. That's BEECH companies.com. I'm Solomon Jones. This is WURD. We'll be right back.
With Internet Essentials from Comcast for only $9.95 a month, you get more. High-speed home internet service included. Peace of mind with XFi Advanced Security included. Access to millions of XFi Wi-Fi hotspots. That's included too. Internet Essentials from Comcast brings you affordable, high-speed internet to your home for only $9.95 a month. When you're connected, you're ready for anything. Visit InternetEssentials.com for more information. Taxes extra. Restrictions apply.
Dietz & Watson has been making premium meats and artisan cheeses for over 80 years. And when it comes to stacking sandwiches and party platters, they've got something for everyone in the family, like maple honey turkey breast, American cheese, buffalo chicken, and more. So get to your local deli and taste 4 generations of family recipes. With Dietz & Watson on the table, you'll have everyone coming back for seconds and thirds. Dietz & Watson, it's a family thing since 1939.
Man, this coronavirus has us all moving differently.
No doubt. Like washing our hands more and social distancing with the crew. I'm always telling people to give me 6 feet. We're here, Grandmom.
There's my babies. Good to see you got your mask on.
Wear mask. Stop the spread. For more information, visit www.pa.gov/COVID.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Now, a traffic update
on WURD Radio. Good morning. This report sponsored by Audible. Still not too bad here in Philadelphia. Southbound 95, a little busy from Cottman Avenue down through Bridge through construction again, Allegheny through Girard, northbound at Girard. It's minor volume there. We had an earlier disabled vehicle cruise, made pretty quick work of that. Westbound Vine Expressway, Lake Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway. Schuylkill eastbound busy, Blue River to Glad when that accident cleared. Westbound getting heavy. University through the Vine through construction. 55 northbound Deptford into 42 slow. 'Tis the season to treat yourself to Audible with the Audible holiday offer. Get the newest all-you-can-listen plan, Audible Plus, for just $4.95 a month for your first 6 months. Listen without limit to thousands of Audible originals, audiobooks, and now podcasts. Go to audible.com. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on Word Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and we are back. We're talking about a number of things on this morning show, including the really assault on a black man in Kansas through a small police department. He was stopped by the police on a back road in a small town. One car comes up, then two, then three, and they're speeding up like he killed somebody, I guess. And he panicked and he ran through a field, and one of the officers runs him over in a police SUV. And he really could have died that night. Thank God he did not. Now he is suing, but here's the kicker. The police officer who did it still on patrol. They never took him off the street, never put him on desk duty. He's still patrolling after running this man over with an SUV, and I'll contend trying to kill him. Because if you're running somebody over with an SUV, you're trying to kill him. You know what I mean? So I want to hear from you about that. Also, the Russians have hacked all our government systems, apparently. They're not giving all the details, but this is absolutely crazy. And so we want to hear about that as well. And Vanessa Bryant's mother is suing her after the death of Kobe Bryant and Gianna Bryant, their daughter, her granddaughter. They died in a helicopter crash. She's talking about Kobe Bryant promised to take care of her for the rest of her life. So she's suing for $5 million, a house, and an SUV. It is absolutely insane to watch. So you know, I think that our society has gotten to the point where it is money above everything. And, you know, money ain't going to take care of you when you're sick. Money's not going to hold your hand when you're dying. Money is not going to hug you when you're heartbroken. Like money can't do any of those things, man. And so I just feel like our relationships have to be more important than money. Otherwise, you lose your humanity. Otherwise, you're suing your child after they've lost their spouse and your grandchild. Otherwise, you lose all sense of what is important. And when I see something like this, it just reminds me to look inward and think about what's important to me, what matters to me, what maintains me, what lifted me when you know, things look very bleak in my life, right? And it's not money. Money's a tool. It's nice to have, right? You can go places and do things. I mean, that's nice. But money don't love you. So why you love money? You know what I mean? Like, you know, so I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. For the love of money is the root of all evil. We see it in the White House. We see it in the courthouse. We see it in the poorhouse. We see it in the prison house. And you might see it in your house if you run around suing your daughter, talking about, give me $5 million in a Mercedes SUV. I want to hear from you. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Kawesa, seeing this story, man, I mean, what are you thinking?
Sorry about that. Too many people
Her
texting
mother.
me.
I know.
At one time. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
So,
I know. But Vanessa Bryant
yeah.
and her mother.
But in regards to that, it's devastating. It really, really is. And to know that maybe because of the fact that I don't have. And I'm thankful and grateful that I don't have that type of relationship with my own mother. My mother loves me. She would never do anything like that to me. And so I always find it hard to really kind of wrap my mind around a parent who would be so loveless, I guess I should say, because that's not love. That's not love when you are as a mother, you're sitting there and you're trying to sue your own child. And in the midst of her grieving and taking care of, multiple children, like I don't get it, but I know that these are the types of people who are out there, and that this is the type of society that we have, because you have people who weigh stuff so heavily above love. And I'll never be able to fully understand that. I'm thankful that I'll never be able to fully understand that, because I do have such a close relationship with my mom. But it really is the audacity, the audacity that her mom would even do something like that. And it's just, it's hurtful. I can't even imagine what Vanessa Bryant is currently going through right now. I can't.
Yeah, but I think, and the reason I wanted to talk about it is that it is, I think, a cautionary tale for the rest of us. I think that it is something that we have to really look at and then examine ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, is money so important to you that you would hurt your loved ones over money? Is money so important to you that you would bring the world into your personal relationships in order to try to bully or embarrass your loved ones into giving you money? Like we have to, I think, look at this stuff, man, and really examine ourselves. So I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Lamont Taylor is on line one. Go ahead, Lamont.
Hey, Solomon, how you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, listen, I just want to touch on Vanessa. It got me thinking about the other part. She cutting them off. She done with them. They've been doing that. She cutting them off. And that's why this is coming out. That's the only thing I could think about. She tired of taking care of them. They probably ain't about nothing. All they got is their hand out, and she's just cutting them off. So they're making a big spectacle out of them. That's all I'm thinking about, man. That's what got me going in my, how family members can be. You got money, they got their hand out, and once you cut it, they want to make a big stink about it.
Well, one of the things that she said, and the facts will come out, and I'm sure if this thing ever goes to court, is that she was in the process of getting her mother a new house, and that she was taking care of her, but she wanted apparently more.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
So that's kind of where we're at.
Hey, listen. I know what it feels like to lose a spouse. I lost my wife 2 years ago. Right?
My condolences, man.
Now think about that. She done lost a spouse, and on top of that, lost a child.
Mm-hmm.
That's a double bubble, man.
Yeah, and at the same time.
Yeah. So you have a good morning, man.
All right, you too, Lamont. And thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD. Let's go to Malik from Mount Airy on line 2. Go ahead, Malik.
Good morning, Word family. I don't even want to think about how painful it has to be to even think about losing spouse, child. But to add on to that, you're going to slap me in my face. I'm buying you a home, but that's not good enough. You want, let's just say I'm getting you a $500,000 home. No, you want a $3 million home, and you want $5 million. And my thing is, if I'm in Vanessa's seat, I'm saying, listen, that's what my husband told you. I'm gonna do right by you, but I don't owe you anything. If this money and this estate is left to me and my children, and one of my children is gone, and you are only adding to my pain and frustration and hurt by trying to attack what my husband said to you before he left. And his guarantees are his guarantees. I don't have to guarantee you that. I can help you, albeit I'm more than happy to help. But you're going to sue me for $5 million because I'm not getting you exactly what you want, like you're a 3-year-old? Are we serious? This is what we're doing? That's just ugly beyond comprehension. But this is where we are. You got to think. You got to think about this. How many people do you know of, that are asked, hey, can I borrow some money? And you say, well, I got $100. No, I need 1,000. Whoa. I'm helping you. You listen, I'll give you what I have, but you're not going to tell me what I got to give you. That's where we are. And that's how ugly it is. And I'm praying that whoever this person is sees the wrong in her ways and says, I'm ending this before it goes to court, because you only going to add to her pain by having to deal with something. You only bring it up more and more because they're going to discuss when Kobe died, how he died, how his daughter died, and you only bring this pain back up over and over and over again, not helping her heal. So, thank you all. Y'all have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.
I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD Radio. If you want to get in, it's 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Sister Murray from University City is on line 1. Good morning, Sister Murray.
Good morning, Solomon. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am blessed. Happy belated birthday, first of all.
Thank you.
I hope you had a wonderful one.
Thank you so much. I did.
You're welcome. I just want to say you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
And the Man Up program is awesome. I'm so glad that my husband is a part of that. He looks forward to mentoring 2 guys that he's mentored. You continue to keep up the good work.
Thank you.
And God bless you. And have a wonderful day.
Thank you. And God bless you, too. And tell your husband I said hi. I appreciate that. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Man Up PHL, of course, still operating, man. And we had to switch gears quickly when the pandemic hit. We were meeting in 4 locations around the city. We now meet online every Tuesday at Man Up PHL at 6 p.m. on Facebook. And it has been, we have had some fantastic mentoring sessions around issues concerning black men and black manhood. And you need to be a part of it. So you can, of course, go to give us a call, 267-748-7818, to learn more about that. So thank you, Sister Murray. I appreciate it. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning show, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call. Of course, you can also weigh in on Facebook at ForWord, FORWURD. That is FORWURD. Kawesa, what are they saying this morning on Facebook?
So we have a few more comments in regards to the Vanessa Bryant and Kobe Bryant situation. Donna Torrance, I don't understand why it even had to come to that. Why doesn't she just give it to her mom? I'm assuming she has plenty. Sounds like all parties are greedy, but I don't know all the circumstances. So that is one comment as well. Joanne Kemp says Kobe had to go through this with his own parents. Greed. And Gail Robinson says, it is really hard to feel sorry for any of these people who thought it was okay to do it to Kobe's parents, when without them, there would be no Kobe or this money foolishness. So that's another comment. Ayatunde Garrett says Vanessa's mom is accustomed to the life that was provided for her based on how much Vanessa is worth now. That money and whatever else she wants is nothing. Give it to her and be done. It is sad. Viola Richburg Gray, sadly, she's saying that my Philly neighbor made transition on Sunday from COVID-19 this week. So definitely prayers are with your neighbor's family and with you and anybody else who's been impacted by your neighbor's death. I'm so sorry to hear that. Walter Davis is saying good morning to us as well. He says, happy TJIF to Solomon and Coesa and my WURD family. And Numa St. Louis is saying Trump is paid and bought for by the Russians. The irony is he fashions himself to be a proponent of law and order and a patriot, yet he allows a foreign adversary to infringe and violate our sovereignty. Trump can call out LeBron and Cap, but can't muster a negative word against Russia and Putin. Sounds more like a traitor to me. So those are just a few more comments that we have on our Facebook page.
We are going to go to break, and on the other side, we are going to talk with Taylor Allen. She is the housing reporter for Plan Philly. We're going to talk about what's happening with West Philadelphia renters who face a risk of displacement. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
America's biopharmaceutical companies are making progress against COVID-19, now with several promising vaccine candidates in phase 3 clinical trials. With an effort to include people from every walk of life, these trials involve tens of thousands of participants. From development to clinical trials and throughout the manufacturing process, these medicines and vaccines are rigorously tested for safety and effectiveness. Go to pharma.org/coronavirus for updates. Because science is how we get back to normal. Paid for by Pharma.
JD's Auto Body and Painting is hiring talent for the following positions. Assembler, preferably 2 to 3 years experience, able to tear down and reassemble all make and model cars. Painter, must have at least 5 years overall painting experience, including experience in water-based paint and able to prep cars for paint jobs. Auto Body Technician, looking for an A or B technician, must have at least 5 years experience repairing cars. Please send your resume to JD's Auto Body and Painting at Comcast.net. That's JDS Auto Body and Painting at Comcast.net or call 215-848-5949 for more details. JD's Auto Body and Painting is an equal opportunity employer.
Livelihood, the new initiative from WURD Radio, connecting Philadelphians to jobs, entrepreneurship opportunities, small business resources, and financial literacy. Visit WURDworks.com right now and take the next step in your professional journey. Livelihood is supported by the Nightland Fest's Local News Transformation Fund, Borealis Philanthropies Racial Equity and Journalism Fund, and the Solutions Journalism Network.
I would like to play a little tune I just composed not so long ago.
Hey family, do you like hearing the best jazz selections aired by 3 of the best jazz announcers in Philadelphia? Well, tune in to 96.1 FM,
96.1 FM,
and 900 AM, WURD Radio, independent black media for Freedom Sounds of Jazz.
Freedom Sounds of Jazz.
Hear Freedom Sounds of Jazz 10 p.m. Fridays with your hosts in rotation, Aquila, Jonathan Bay, and David Fritz. That's 10 p.m. Friday nights on WURD 96.1 FM and 900 AM, independent black media.
Wishing you and yours the very best this holiday season from the entire WURD family. This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia.
Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app. Progressive and proud.
Independent black media. Now, a traffic update
on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report's sponsored by Audible. Still not too bad here in Philadelphia. Southbound 95, a little busy from Cottman Avenue down through Bridge, through construction, again Allegheny through Girard, northbound at Girard. Some minor volume there. We had an earlier disabled vehicle. Crews made pretty quick work of that. Westbound Vine Expressway, Light Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway. Schuylkill eastbound busy. Blue River to Glad when that accident cleared. Westbound getting heavy. University through the Vine through construction. 55 northbound Deptford in the 42 slow. 'Tis the season to treat yourself to Audible with the Audible holiday offer. Get the newest all-you-can-listen plan, Audible Plus, for just $4.95 a month for your first 6 months. Listen without limit to thousands of Audible originals, audiobooks, and now podcasts. Go to audible.com. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
You're waking up
with WURD.
Hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. And I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. Joining us now is Taylor Allen. She's Planned Philly's housing reporter. And she's written a couple of stories this week that we'd like to talk about. Taylor, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Solomon, and happy belated birthday.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And it was a good one. I had a good birthday this year, so thank you for that. I want to talk about what's going on in West Philly. You wrote a piece about West Philadelphia renters, and you started out with the story of a woman named Kendra Bowden Ponder. What happened with her?
Well, she was already cost burden, and by, the federal definition is using more of a third of your income on rent, but she was especially is because she was using about half. So she was already, against the wall. And then her and her husband lost their jobs, another pandemic casualty, and, it got really hard, and she just couldn't get up her income to, keep up with her bills, because you don't have a job, your bills don't stop, basically. And, she had a questionable landlord, according to her, but the gist of it is she now has to leave. She's figuring out, what she can do right now. She's thinking about relocating to North Philly. She doesn't really know if she can, but it's really at this point she's like, I either have to relocate or I have to go to a shelter, and, that's her reality right now.
And so they've gone through all of the counseling and the other programs that are in place to keep these evictions from happening, or she's leaving of her own volition? Why is she leaving?
Well, her situation is a little bit more complicated.
Okay.
And we don't have to go to, the nitty-gritty of it, but hers is a bit more complicated is because there's also allegations that her landlord is doing some violations with L&I kind of things, licenses and inspections. So it's just a little bit more complicated rather than just going to a mediation, getting an agreement. It's just not as cut and dry.
Mm-hmm. But the bottom line is that she has to leave, and now she has to find out, has to figure out where she's going to live without a whole lot of income.
Yeah, regardless, she has to go. The day that she had that she was supposed to absolutely have to leave is the 15th. Obviously, that has passed. Her landlord has been a bit flexible with that just because they do know that actively trying to leave, right? And she does have the office behind her, Jamie Gautier's office. She has been working with them, been working with OHS, the Office of Homeless Services. So there is attempts for her to be placed, but she's, stuck between a wall and a hard place right now.
Mm-hmm. And so there's a report on this, and it indicates a trend. The report is from 3rd District Councilwoman Jamie Gaudier about housing in West Philly. And what is the gist of that report? What does it say?
The gist of the report is people can't afford their housing in the 3rd District. It's pretty simple. People can't afford their housing. Most people, at least about half renters, about 55%, are cost burden. And like what I said, that's at least like 30% you're using on your income. And that's creeping up even into slightly higher incomes. And by slightly higher, I mean the average median income in the 3rd District is about $30,000. So when you go slightly even higher, and that means like $35,000 to $55,000, even they are becoming more cost burden. Like within the last 8 to 10 years, that has increased up to like 40%, and it was like closer to the teens or a quarter just a few years ago.
And so what is happening with the Black population in West Philadelphia, according to this report?
It's not, well, just according to my reporting, not necessarily in this report, but between 2000 and 2016, West Philadelphia's population has decreased by 35%. And that is through the Philadelphia Coalition of Affordable Communities, and that report came in 2019. That shouldn't particularly, I'm not saying it shouldn't be surprising. It's kind of happening in a lot of places in Philadelphia, and particularly like South Philly as well. But in the last like 20 years, Black people are either switching different parts of the city they're going to or going into the suburbs.
And so the Black population in West Philadelphia decreased by 35% from 2000 to 2016. And that's a result of what? Of rising prices? Is that what it is?
Part of it's rising prices. A part of it is just, people, new-ish people, moving in, rising prices, things of that nature. Yes. But also a lot of this, we can talk about gentrification all day and it's still an issue, but I think what people really need to understand is like people's incomes are not increasing. Like that's like the heart of this. Like people are poor. Even if, people weren't moving in droves, the amount of affordable housing or subsidized housing or however you want to define it, there's just not enough for the need.
And so, given that a lot of people work in hospitality and industries like that, especially in Philadelphia, where we depend kind of heavily on tourism, are those growing industries or not?
Like within Black communities?
Hospitality.
Oh, yes, but it also got a hit, right? The pandemic. That's not. Like I feel like every news story you hear is about restaurants or anything with service, right? Like that's who's getting hit the most because you can't be in close quarters. So yeah, like hospitality is definitely, I would say, growing at least pre-pandemic, absolutely. But that's like the biggest hit right now. So in addition to people already at this point being cost burden, they already had this problem, like Kendra, my character, but then they're being extra slammed with like, okay, now the industries that, people were relying on, they can't even do.
So as far as subsidized housing is concerned, and I looked up some of the numbers and some of the qualifications for that. There's a lot in your story about who new subsidized housing is usually targeted for. What did you find in your reporting?
Well, when it comes to subsidized housing, usually what is used is the area median income. But on the federal level, there's like a Philadelphia region, which includes the suburbs, right? And for a family of 4, that's about $87,400. Obviously, that is a lot higher than even the average income just in Philadelphia. But people still use that measurement to still, say oh, we can do 50 or 60 or 80% for subsidized housing. And I guess the argument in this report that they keep saying is I don't know if that's a great measurement, especially when most of the average income in the 3rd district is only $30,000.
So this subsidized housing, is this supposed to be the affordable housing?
Well, they're a part of it, some of it, yes. Like subsidized housing, at least in the 3rd District, only meets about a quarter of the need. But, you know, like I've said before, when you say affordable, that can mean a lot of things. You know, people use that, but it's kind of a catch-all term, right? So they're not exactly the same.
So the new subsidized housing targeted to people earning between 60 and 80% of the regional area median income. And you're right, when you talk about the region, you're talking about Philadelphia and the suburbs where people tend to make more money. That median income is $87,400 for a family of 4.
Yeah.
All right. And in West Philadelphia, the actual average income is about $30,000 a year.
Right. As you can see, that's a huge discrepancy.
Yeah, it is. So what else did you find in your reporting as you were talking about West Philadelphia renters facing this risk of displacement?
Well, just talking to certain people, it was kind of like resignation a little bit, particularly in Kendra's case. She was like, you know, I don't know what to do. Like, no one's really surprised by this report. You know, even the council member herself was like, nothing in here is surprising, but it's good to have it in clear numbers. So when she does go to developers who want to, you know, build something in her district, she could be like, okay, but these are like the actual needs here. This is what is accessible. This is what isn't accessible. So nothing, I mean, I would argue, I don't know about you, Solomon, nothing was particularly surprising, but it's just unfortunate seeing things in black and white.
Yeah, it is. Let's talk about the city plan, because the mayor has announced some residential input on the city plan. What did he say?
He says that this time around, he wants to emphasize equity. So what that means is that there's going to be a commission for the next round of city planning that is going to incorporate black and brown residents. And on the commission, 20 is going to be like city officials, and the other 20 is going to be regular residents. But of that 10 is going to be people from certain commissions, like the Commission of LGBT Affairs or African and Caribbean. That's what that is. And they're supposed to basically guide the priorities for the city's planning for the next decade, an update to the 2035 plan.
And so what happened on the last plan that on this plan there has to be a special emphasis on getting more black and brown people? There weren't enough black and brown people before?
I don't want to speak on their behalf or put in the words, but for lack of a better term, I mean, my interpretation is, yeah, basically. And why I say that is because, you know, the statement is more like last time around, the focus was on equality. And what that meant is that they went to every district, had about like 3 public meetings, heard from community and put like their wants, needs, basically a wish list on the plan, right? This time around, the emphasis is being like, okay, yeah, last time we, you know, treated everyone, quote unquote, equal, right? You know, 3 public meetings. But certain districts have certain needs that others don't. And so they're like, okay, we're going to like not eliminate that, but actually have people who are in those communities that can tell us like, okay, what can we do better next time? And then go with it. So that's the difference. It's like, rather than just assuming, okay, this is the best way to talk to people, how about I just have people from those communities tell me how it's the best way to interact and outreach and talk to them.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking with Taylor Allen. She is the housing reporter for Plan Philly. You can find her work on WHYY.org. So in talking about what they were going to do with this next city plan, you talked with the person who runs the city planning commission. What did she tell you?
Just about I'm sorry, like just tell about like what she's trying to do?
About what she's trying to do.
Right. So it was an open call. The deadline has passed for December 15th, and she just wants basically regular people to apply. And the reason she wants to do that is because I think there is this assumption or something that has happened in the past in the city where, you know, planners and architects who are very educated and good at what they do, I'm not saying they aren't, but that kind of make decisions for everyone rather than the people who are actually in the community. So she is like really pushing for this. She's hiring even a consultant when this committee comes together that has expertise in anti-racism and equity to like facilitate these. And this committee will at least meet monthly, and it'll be at least 2 hours for them to like really share their experiences, what it's like in their respective districts and what they need. So she's like really trying to emphasize like, I want people with experiences, like just living, rather than people who are experts in the field.
All right. All right. That is Taylor Allen. She's Plan Philly's housing reporter. You can check her work out on WHYY.org. Taylor, as always, thanks so much. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. All right. So we're going to take your calls at 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. And let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning show. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in. Of course, you can also weigh in at FORWURD. That's FORWURD, FORWURD. That is where you can weigh in on Facebook. And, Kawesa, what are they saying this morning on Facebook?
So a few more comments here. Gail Robinson says West Philly is being gentrified, and this is because of moving black folks out. So that's one comment that we have here. Lucy Luson, good morning to you. Thanks so much for tuning in. She says we need to start working on electing people that can help make changes for us and not just themselves or their friends. So that's another comment that we have here as well. Tia Hicks says, it's nice to have reports, but it doesn't mean much of anything without proper action to help meet the needs of those of us whom are African Americans and brown people on a whole. So that's another comment. John Wade says this isn't helping us black folks. And then we have a couple other people just saying hi this morning. David Howell, good morning to you. Shalata C.A. Sankofa, good morning to you as well. And so, yeah, those are just a few more folks just weighing in and, making comments this morning on our feed.
All right, so want to remind you that the school year is underway, but never before has that experience come in so many shapes and sizes. Is the education of your child being left to a smattering of clumsy in-person and virtual instruction? The COVID-19 crisis has created a market for untested virtual teaching models lacking true credibility. Maybe it's time to reconsider and exercise your choice. Maybe it's time to check out Commonwealth Charter Academy. Here are the benefits to your family. 1, an online education provided at no cost to you, complete with laptop, headset, and help with internet access. 2, partnership with the market leader in cyber education with a nearly 20-year track record of world-class learning. 3, delivery of a safe, reliable, and comfortable education experience over the internet directly to the confines of your living room. Visit ccaeducate.me today and discover the gold standard of cyber education. That's ccaeducate.me. I'm Solomon Jones. This is WURD. We'll be right back.
This health and humanitarian crisis has shaken us all, as neighbors and as a nation. At Bank of America, we came together as a company and as a community with an unwavering commitment to advance racial equality and economic opportunity. We're thankful for the tireless efforts of our employees, partners, healthcare, and essential workers in the communities we serve. And we remain fully committed to the work ahead in 2021. Bank of America N.A., member FDIC, equal credit opportunity lender.
PECO has many ways to help you lower your energy usage and save money at home. Here's one. If your heating and cooling system is more than 20 years old, it may be time for your contractor to replace it with a high-efficiency Energy Star certified model. You'll get a rebate from PECO and save on your monthly electric bill. You'll find a list of new heating and cooling system rebates at PECO.com/rebates. Or you can call 1-888-5-PICO-SAVE for all the details. Plus, find instant discounts on smart thermostats and more at pico.com/marketplace. There's free shipping on orders over $49.
Have you thought about your Christmas Day or New Year's Day dinner? Contact Eatable Delights Catering for one of their scrumptious packages. Call for the fire-roasted chestnuts, the Natalie Cole, or the Arizona Special. They can cater for you for as little as 4 people. 215-236-3900 or stop in at 1540 Wadsworth Avenue. Order by December 21st for pickup and order for delivery by December 24th and December 25th. That's 215-236-3900.
Always Best Care is a great place to work.
Flexibility, leadership, purpose,
great benefits.
There's never a dull moment.
Diversity, inclusion, compasión.
We love our jobs. If you're looking for a great place to work, you can join our compassionate Team Green. You can apply online at teamgreenabc.com or call 267-909-9248.
Teamwork makes the dream work. This is not a fad for us.
We will not resume our regular programming when things die down. We're not black to help our bottom line or because it's politically correct. We're not joining a fight. This has been our fight, our message, our people. Black lives have always mattered here. We are
undeniably,
indefatigably, unapologetically, permanently Black Talk Media.
WURD.
Now, a traffic update
on WURD Radio.
Pretty good ride here in Philadelphia. This report sponsored by the Exogen Temporal Scanner. Some usual busy spots. Schuylkill Expressway. You're going to find that a bit busy on the eastbound side this morning, right around the curve. Westbound side near the Vine Expressway. There is some slowing there. There is an accident off to the shoulder. Vine Expressway, westbound 8th Street through the Schuylkill Expressway. Pretty busy there. 95 southbound Cottman through Bridge. You're busy. Heavy Betsy Ross down through Girard this morning. Northbound 95. That is moving fine through Philadelphia. PA Turnpike, Blue Route 476 moving fine. 55 northbound. A little slow north of Deptford into 42 still. Fever is the leading sign of COVID-19. Use an accurate thermometer for twice daily checks. Protect your loved ones with the Exogen Temporal Scanner. It takes an accurate reading in seconds and is the only home thermometer recommended by hospitals, physicians, and clinics. Stay safe with Exogen. For more traffic information, log on to SignAlert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Don't do it. There's other ways to celebrate your anniversary other than going in debt. The fact that it's credit card debt tells me it's not any debt that was, needed. Past performance is not indicative of future results. So with that qualifier, don't walk, run.
And now, Akbar Hassan, only on Wake Up with WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with WURD. Joining us now is Akbar Hassan. He's a personal financial advisor, counseling individuals and small businesses. He has 3 decades of corporate finance experience in 2 of the world's largest law firms. He unwraps the mystery of money, offering practical, insightful, and easy-to-understand guidance. Akbar, good morning.
Good morning, Solomon. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
I'm doing well also. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I did see the clip of you doing push-ups.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I just have one question. At what point did the loop kick in?
That was not a loop, brother. That's 60 straight.
I watched it. I'm like, okay. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like yawning because it's like so many push-ups. I'm like, wait a minute. It had the loops at some point at the loop. Like, did it automatically go back? So So that wasn't a loop, huh?
That was not a loop. That was not a loop. And I only did it because somebody called here, man, and was like, well, we got to see the proof you do push-ups with your son. All right, well, here it is. You want to see it? Here it go. And Levita's my witness. She's the most honest person I know. She taped it. So,
wow.
Nah, man, that wasn't no loop.
Impressive. Very impressive. well, listen, I hope you had a great meal. I hope you ate a lot of fried chicken or whatever.
I had some fried chicken. I did indeed.
There you go. I hope you if you do that many push-ups, you can spare to overindulge in eating for that day.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And of course, I do want to mention we did a raffle for Men of PHL, and some folks won some stuff last night, so that was great.
Yep. That was
you
great.
oversaw that.
Yep. We gave away a 43-inch Samsung TV, a smart TV, a soundbar, a Samsung soundbar, and some other Alexa kit, and some other cool things. So it was a good ending to our raffle. We're going to do it probably biannually. But it was good. We raised a lot of funds. So the winners in this were the mentees.
That's right.
We need the funds to really be able to take care of our mentees. We wish things like this did not cost money, but the fact of the matter, it does. We run into mentees that they need a place to live. That's a fact like that may make a difference in whether someone goes out and commits gun violence and changes the lives of so many people in a negative way, or change the lives of people in a positive way. Clothing stipends, transportation stipends, food stipends. So all that's needed for our mentees. And thank you for our mentors. There's so many wonderful mentors. The backbone of this organization is the mentors, so they need to give themselves a hand for joining and becoming a community, because it does take a village. It's cliche, but it does take a village, and we're becoming that village.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is critical. And so, of course, we got a question about finances from one of our listeners this week. Akbar, what's the question this week?
So the question is, my 11-year-old son wants a PlayStation 5 for Christmas. Money is very tight right now, but this is all he talks about, so I have to get it for him. The problem is, my other son, who is 13, wants an Xbox. I want to get each of them. How about that? I want to get each of them what they want, but money is very tight, and I can't afford 2 game consoles. How can I free up cash to make sure they have a Merry Christmas? Wow. Actually, this is more than one question. Solomon, I think that everyone wants to give the perfect gift, right?
Yeah.
And and so what's a perfect gift? Most time the perfect gift is what the person wants, and sometimes it's what they need. But the fact of life is that there are sometimes you're not going to be able to get that quote unquote perfect gift. All right. And what happens? What happens is people go into credit card debt, right? They spend all year getting out of debt, or years getting out of debt, and they just go right back in the hole trying to fulfill all these dreams that everyone has for Christmas. And then there's added stress. The stressors, there's been a study that says heart attacks increase because of Christmas. I mean, some of that is due to overindulgence in eating and drinking and all this and the cold weather, but some of it has to do with the added stress of Christmas. We got to remember the meaning of Christmas. And as you said today earlier about material things, we have to become disattached from material things. Remember, it's about giving, and giving isn't about materials from the heart. Okay? But how do you teach an 11-year-old that? Well, you teach that. You teach that at an early stage. When you're giving tithes at church, when you're giving contributions to different organizations, you teach that at an early age to a child, so they grow up knowing and have a understanding that what the meaning of a Christmas is. We've so commercialized it and so materialized it that we've gotten away from that. But in addition, I think at an early age, a child needs to be involved a little bit more in the family finances, not recording numbers, but understand what's going on. I think in this case, the child is shielded from what's going on and has no clue that, hey, things are tight right now. I find that when when you involve the children in understanding where, hey, listen, things are tight, then they will have a sense of consciousness to know that, okay, I can't answer that because, mommy or daddy, they're struggling right now, or they lost their job and this is not the right time. An 11-year-old can realize that. They're not young. They're not that young where they won't realize that. So that's what I see the problem is. So if you can't get it, get something else. Have a conversation with them. If you really want to get that for them, then get a second job, okay? Make that up. I mean, there are a lot of second jobs available. Maybe not doing what you want, but doing what you need to do to make up that difference. So if you really want to do that, then go do that. Or solicit family members. Say, listen, so-and-so wants to do it. It's been a hard year for me. Can you guys give up some, can you guys help me out here with this? I'd be really appreciative. That will work. So those are roads you can take to do that. As far as getting 2 game consoles, big no. Do not do that. Never, ever, ever, ever do that. When you have kids and children in the house who live together, they need to learn to share. Okay? You don't go and, the game consoles are $500 a piece plus tax. So you spend $1,000 on something that's going to break a couple years from now. It's ridiculous. What you need to do, if you do get one console, get one. Have a conversation with them. Say, listen, you want this. You guys need to decide amongst yourselves which one. And let them decide. It helps. Actually, it helps. So this is a form of development for what they will need and how to negotiate things in the future in life. That starts now in life. So have them decide amongst themselves what they want. Don't get anything until they've made that decision, and then when they make the decision, they have to play together. That's part of running a household, Solomon. So
yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of this has to do with simply raising a family correctly. And there's no rule book, and you always say that there's no rule book, there's no handbook, but there is times when you just have to be. I think it's pulled from within how to be a parent, and you do that from the beginning. And when you're a parent, I think some people, they're like, well, if I don't get the right thing, my child is going to be upset. I can never imagine in my wildest dream me being upset at my mother. You just don't do that. Your mother is a mother. Mother gives you guidance and wisdom and all that stuff. So I may disagree or wish, but upset to the point where I'm going to break things and run away. No, if it's gotten that far, then there's other issues at hand.
That's right.
So but here, if you can't get it. I mean, there are people who did save money in the beginning of the year towards Christmas, and then they lost their jobs or through other reasons had to go in that pot and spend it, and now that money doesn't exist. Now things have changed. Child should be aware of that. They should be aware of that. So my answer to the question is, do not under any circumstances, get 2 game consoles. Only get one, and that's only if you can afford to get one. Do not go in debt to buy gifts for Christmas. That's really the answer here. Don't go into debt buying gifts for Christmas. Christmas is about giving. It's about loving. It's about sharing our time. It's about getting together as a family, and not about doing things that's going to break the family apart. So, I hope that this helps you out, and I wish you a very Merry Christmas on whatever you do.
It's interesting, man, because every Christmas I think about a Christmas early on when we didn't have a lot of money. Solomon had just been born. He's 16 now, so this was 16 years ago, and we had just had a picture taken of him and Levita, and it was a very nice picture, man, sepia toned a picture, but we didn't have a whole lot of money to buy everybody gifts. So I said, all right, well, let's go and buy frames for these pictures. We'll make copies of the pictures. We'll write something on each one of the pictures, right? And I think for my mothers, it said, and Carolyn and Solomon beget Solomon, and Solomon and Levita beget Solomon, right? And that's what on the top it said one line, on the bottom it said another line in this fancy script. I did it on Photoshop and framed it in $5 frames from Walmart. And I wrapped them up, and everybody got one that was specific to them. And 16 years later, everybody still has that picture on their wall.
Wow, that's amazing. And
you know what I mean?
That's a gift from the heart.
That's a gift from the heart. That's a gift from the heart. And so I guess for me, the lesson in that was that it's not the monetary value of the gift. It's that you cared enough to give somebody something because you cared about them, right? And something that has some meaning and some value to them. And so that was a lesson for me that year, man. It was a lesson. And, you know, when I can afford to give people, you know, nice things, I do that. But when I can, it's something from the heart. Some of the stuff that I've kept from my children are little handwritten notes. I actually carry them around with me that they've written. You know what I mean? When they were little. And so, you know, you're absolutely right, Akbar. It makes no sense to go into debt to get somebody gifts, man. You can give somebody something that will mean more to them that didn't cost you anything.
That's right. But, you know, Solomon, also, over time, Christmas has changed. And when you know, you're going from, you know, there's a culture that raises the kids, you know, believing in the tooth fairy and Santa Claus is coming down the chimney, you know, write Santa a letter, send it to the North Pole. And so you grow up, but children grow up believing that. And then there's a time when you have to break the news to them. But and in addition, because of this expensive electronic world we live in, you know, the innocent gifts like Lincoln Logs back in the day, you know, and little innocent toys, you know, those are gone. Now everybody wants these $500 to $1,000 gifts, and they're all electronic. And so, you know, one gift breaks the bank, you know. So it's a change in culture, and we have to go back, like you said, to the meaning of Christmas and to the meaning of giving somebody something from the heart, just being thoughtful. If someone likes to read, get them a book. Yeah, they may have asked for this, but this is what they really want. And if they're really appreciative, they will be appreciative of it. If not, then they're lost in the meaning of Christmas, and you have to bless them.
I hear you, man. That of course is Akbar Hassan. Akbar Hassan is a personal financial advisor advising individuals and small businesses. He has 3 decades of corporate finance experience in 2 of the world's largest law firms. He unwraps the mystery of money, offering practical, insightful, and easy to understand guidance. Akbar, thanks so much.
Thank you, Solomon.
All right. So we want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. And let us know where you are on these various things that we are talking about on this morning show. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Of course, if you want to get in touch with Akbar Hassan, you can email him at Akbar, AKBAR, Hassan, HASAN, at Comcast.net. That's Akbar Hassan at Comcast.net. So we want to hear from you. Give us a call. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, and let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning show. 215-634-8065 is the number. You can also weigh in on Facebook at FORWURD. That's FORWURD, FORWURD, and let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning show. So I do want to remind you that if you want to buy black for the holidays, we've got you covered. WURD Radio is proud to present our virtual holiday marketplace online. Support local, small, black-owned businesses through the marketplace and purchase your holiday gifts today. Go to wordradio.com/marketplace or wordworks.com/marketplace. I'm Solomon Jones. This is WURD. We'll be right back.
A holiday message to help us all and answer an important question.
We will never know how many of our friends and family members didn't get COVID-19 because we followed safeguards. We'll never know that number. This is Dan Hilferty, CEO of Independence Blue Cross, with a simple reminder of how much good we do for others when we protect ourselves. We'll never know how many lives we save because we wear masks. wash our hands frequently, and keep social distance. We'll never know exactly who we help, who we save when we take protective steps each day. We'll only know one thing for certain, that we did all we could to save people from the effects of a pandemic with the potential to overwhelm the region. And that's a nice thing for us to live with. Thank you all. For more on what you can do, visit ibx.com. Together, we are beating COVID-19.
Did you know you can catch the flu and COVID-19 at the same time or even back to back? Don't risk catching the flu during the COVID-19 pandemic. The flu shot is a safe and effective way of reducing your chances of catching the flu or spreading it to others. And the flu shot helps protect you and your community from the worst effects of the flu. Don't say, I should have got my flu shot. Call your doctor or visit your pharmacist and get your flu shot today.
Last year, the Pennsylvania Lottery contributed over $1.2 billion to programs that benefit older Pennsylvanians. Programs like senior centers and hot meals, long-term living services and home care, property tax and rent rebates, transit rides, and much more. To learn more, visit PALottery.com and check out the interactive map to see how the Pennsylvania Lottery benefits older residents in your county. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly.
The onWURD Podcast. Check out the onWURD 2020 in Black podcast series. Available now on your favorite podcast app or visit wordradio.com/2020 in Black. You can also ask your favorite device to play onWURD 2020 in Black. It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and we're taking your calls at 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That's the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. We're talking about a number of things, including our big three stories, which are story number one, the dash cam video captured a horrific scene, a Kansas sheriff's deputy in a patrol truck mowing down a black man who was running shirtless across a field in the summer darkness after fleeing a traffic stop. Lionel Womack, a 35-year-old former police detective from Kansas City, Kansas, alleges in an excessive force lawsuit that he sustained serious injuries when Kiowa County Sheriff's Deputy Jeremy Rodriguez intentionally drove over him during that August 15th encounter. Story number two, federal authorities expressed increased alarm Thursday about an intrusion into U.S. and other computer systems around the globe that officials suspect was carried out by Russian hackers. Your president, by the way, has said nothing. Story number three, imagine you've just lost your spouse and your daughter in a helicopter crash. Deputies at the scene take pictures of the mangled bodies and share them publicly. Social media shares false stories and spreads them widely. You learn that the helicopter pilot should not have flown in the bad weather that day, and you suffer unspeakable grief because the whole thing could have been avoided. And then after months of grieving, when things are finally getting back to some semblance of normalcy, your mother sues you for $5 million, a house, and a Mercedes SUV. That's what happened with Vanessa Bryant after she lost her husband and her daughter in a helicopter crash. And, to me, this is bigger than just that particular story. This is about what we value and whether we value property or people, whether we value relationships or money, whether we value family or finances. Like we have to decide what it is that we value, what it is that means something to us. Is it about stuff or is it about people? And you know, I would argue that it needs to be about people, not stuff. And so I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning's show. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD. Prince from Schuylkill is on line one. Thanks for holding.
Hey, Solomon. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, are you familiar on how the Philadelphia Housing Authority works? If you don't mind me asking that question.
How it works? How? What do you mean?
In
Works?
reference to housing and services.
I don't know. What do you mean? How it works?
Okay, I'm asking you that question because I think the councilwoman who would like to build tiny houses and ask for the houses from the Philadelphia Housing Authority. It's not clear that the Housing Authority provides social services, all kinds of services for folks who come in into the application process. And what she's doing is, and HUD funds the Housing Authority for all those services. So once again, I think the councilwoman is asking us to give her houses, run a rental program out of those houses, and then pay a separate tax for all the services tied into that situation. And so every time I hear her talk, I say, well, why don't you just do a venture with the Housing Authority? You'll have all the services you need, because there's no way you're going to have people who don't have any income and don't have any jobs live in those houses and keep the upkeep of those houses, you know. And so I actually asked questions because she keeps asking us for something that, number one, we already have, and we have to pay a separate tax. And then our homeowners. When I heard of tiny houses, I thought that you could buy a house that is much smaller and take a mortgage out on it, which is much less, and maintain it. But what she's asking us to do is let children who have been adjudicated by the system, whether they're 17 or 18, live in these houses, or let somebody who need a house. It's for her own benefit, and this is a new.
Well, I don't know if it. So if she's not living in the house, how is that for her own benefit?
So what I'm saying is, for her benefit, she's not. It's not a constituent thing. It's a whoever's supporting the initiative benefit. Because if it was a constituent thing, then you'll go through the services that are already laid out.
Well, I don't know that that's true. So you have a bunch of people who go through all kinds of stuff in order to get stuff done. I think about the pre-K program, right? Mm-hmm. So the pre-K program could have been run through the school district, but it wasn't. It was a separate program that was run through the mayor's office of education rather than the school district. And I think you do that for any number of reasons. Maybe you do it because you want to be accountable for it. Maybe you do it because you want credit for it. Maybe you do it because it's just easier in terms of red tape. And so I think, you know, she and I'll reach out to her because I think she needs to have the opportunity to speak for herself as to why and she wants to do it the way she's doing it.
Right.
You know.
No, you do. I mean, you make a valid point because what I'm saying is, to your point, the pre-K program is still funded through the school system, and her program. No, I
thought it was funded through the soda tax.
I don't think all the money from the soda tax is still in the general fund.
Not all of it.
Well,
a lot of it.
Right, a lot of it. But we haven't seen an itemized breakdown on what's funded. So to assume that anything's funded, we don't know. We haven't seen that. All I'm saying is that the Housing Authority is the conduit to the program she wants to run. And they have a lot of partners throughout the city, both developers and CDCs. So what I'm saying is, as a taxpayer, as a resident of the city, I don't want to arbitrarily be tied into something that's not connected to a bigger system. And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't know. If I'm trying to actually run something and actually get something done, I don't know. And again, I don't know a lot of details about our program, but I'm just thinking about it from my point. If I'm really trying to get something done, do I really want to get into the bureaucracy of the Housing Authority where you have to answer to federal, state, and city authorities on that? Do I really want to get in that? I don't know if I do. If I'm really trying to get something done.
But what I'm saying is that, and to your point, you're going to get into it anyway when you enter into this kind of program of services. It's automatic. It's all tied in. And that's why we tied it all in, so you wouldn't have to go through as much red tape. But there's got to be a level of accountability, and so you're going to go through that anyway. Hey, man, thank you for taking my call, and I'll hang up and I'll listen to you.
All right. I thank you for your call. But I know bureaucracy. I've been in bureaucracies, and, sometimes it's easier to find a way around that if you really want to get the services to the people. We'll see. I'll reach out to her and see if we can get her on to talk about it. But, it's just a lot, man. It's a lot. We're trying to actually help people. A lot of times government is not the best path to doing that. And so, I'm a proponent of private-public partnerships where you have some expertise that is in the private sector, some resources that are in the government sector, and bringing those together in order to more efficiently get things done. Let's go to Renee from West Oak Lane on line 2. Go ahead, Renee.
Hey, good morning, Solomon Kuwait.
Good morning.
WURD staff and everybody. I'm just calling on some of these wicked sensitive situations. First of all, I want to say so far as like money and guns by itself can't harm you. It's some of the evil-minded people who handle it. And also, I wanted to get into people like Vanessa Bryant, what she's going through with the Stewart situation as president with Putin. There's just a lot of people who value materialistic things more than humanity. Now, it's a song that Gil Scott-Heron have saying, we almost lost Detroit, and it's a part in the song where he says, when it comes down to people's safety, money wins out every time. And you have people with that state of mind. And so far as the police brutality, we need to protest more on that, about the sense of police force on black people. And the lady in Chicago, how many block warrants do black people have to go through before the law is changed? And that's why people do rioting and tear down stores. Every time they take the boards off the stores and stuff, it's another incident with black people with police force. I'm not saying justifying and saying that's right. And another thing I wanted to get into, USA Today says it's only over 300 people killed by COVID and 41,000 people killed by gun violence in America. And so far as that statistic, that's
300 people killed by COVID.
300.
You mean 300,000?
Yes, sorry.
300,000
okay. People and 41,000 people killed by gun violence in America. That's like totally devastating. And also, I wanted to know about the COVID vaccination. Do you have to get that every year, like you have to get the flu shot? I wanted to
That's a good question. I don't know.
I wanted to know that you know anything about that.
No, I don't know if you have to get it every year. I'll find out.
Okay, and also, if you don't mind me asking you, do you shop online?
Yes, occasionally.
Okay, now I just wanted to get into the thing of a lot of major stores closing, like Century 21 stores are closing, Lord & Taylor's. I do believe like department stores are going to be a thing of the past due to the COVID and a whole lot of other economical situations, and a lot of things will be online. And I just wanted to end it like this. Our government and politicians do need to do more about these situations.
Okay, I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let's go to Olanian from Nicetown on line 3. Go ahead, Olanian.
Good readings.
How you doing, brother?
They want us to move into the mountains. Red Fox.
Who want us to move into the mountains?
I'm going to bring it out real soon.
Okay,
Red Fox, the comedian, told us urban renewal, black renewal. With help from some city hall Negroes, the results are aimed by the racist system to force low-income people to live outside of the big city and into the hills and mountains, just like reality is in South Africa, pre-apartheid South Africa, too. That's all I want to say today.
All right, man. Thanks, Olanian. Let's go to Tyrone from South Philly on line 3. Go ahead, line 4. Go ahead, Tyrone.
Hey, Solomon. Happy belated birthday to you and your family.
Thank you.
Greetings to the WURD family. I'd like to comment on the Kobe Bryant situation. I mean, it's a travesty that such would happen, but the same thing she's going through with her parents, Kobe went through with his.
Yeah.
And it would seem that, you know, your mom is your mom from the womb to the tomb.
Mm-hmm.
And like you was placing interest on value. What are you putting value on? Now, Kobe Bryant left her very well off.
Yeah.
She don't have millions. She has billions.
I don't know about that, but
Well,
yeah, she got a lot of money.
I'm telling you, he left her very well off. She ain't hurting for no money, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's her mother.
Mm-hmm.
So what you going to do? You know, I mean, I look at the Jacksons and I see how they became, you know, wealthy and rich, and how the other ones, certain ones became wealthy and rich, and the other ones became poor and pauper-like, you know? And I asked the question, well, that's your family. That's going to always be your family.
Mm-hmm.
And for you to put a dollar sign on it, it's sad.
Mm-hmm. So you think Vanessa Bryant is wrong, and that's why her mother is suing her for $5 million, a house, and a Mercedes SUV?
Well, see, one thing we don't know, the mother knows her child.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she was Kobe Bryant's wife, and she pushed Kobe Bryant's mother and father out. Kobe Bryant's mother and father was like, wait a minute, son, we was with you, we yours from the womb to the tomb. You know, you're a billionaire now, you're doing very successful. We're your family. And he was like, well, I gave y'all what I gave y'all, and I ain't giving y'all no more. So now, the same incident happens with her and her mother. Well, Mom, I gave you what I'm going to give you. I ain't giving you no more. But the fact is this, and it's never going to change. That's her mother. She knows her.
So I'm just you keep saying the same thing. So what is your point? What is your bottom line?
That's her mother. Mother know their children.
Okay, I know that's her mother, but what is your bottom line point?
I'm going to have to take you to court. I mean, family, you know, they have their inside squabbles and and they come to conclusions. Well, I know you ain't going to change. You're going to be you. So I'm going to have to change this situation.
Okay, you're not telling me, you're not answering my question. My question was, what is your bottom line point? Is it, do you think that Vanessa Bryant is wrong? She should just give her mother, you know, what she demanded, or she shouldn't?
Okay, my position is on it. That's your mom. Whatever your mom asks you for, and you got it, and it's not going to hurt you, just give it to her.
Got it. Okay, let's go to break. On the other side, we're going to continue the show right here on WURD.
Seniors, does your doctor regularly reach out to check on you? Can you walk into your doctor's office and see them if you need to? Do you have your doctor's cell phone number, and can you call them anytime, day or night? At Dedicated Senior Medical Center, their only specialty is caring for seniors. Dedicated makes it easy to get the primary care you deserve. Doctors spend more time with patients than the doctors you may be used to. They offer telehealth visits, help you get your medications, and even make sure you get to your appointments. If your doctor isn't treating you like family, it's time to say yes to Dedicated Senior Medical Center. Call Dedicated Senior Medical Center today to schedule a visit and find out what you're missing. Call 267-443-1900. That's 267-443-1900. Appointments are available now.
Listen to Laborers Live.
We created the weekend. We created the 40-hour work week. We just want enough to feed our family, be able to send our children to college, and let our next generation do better than we did.
To people that might have forgot how important unionism is in a country like the United States. People now infringing on our 8-hour workday, trying to work people more than 8 hours without overtime, trying to work people without benefits. In the long run, everybody's getting fat paycheck except the worker. So this is really a wake-up call for America.
The struggle is continuous. Tune in to Laborers Live every Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. Sponsored by LESIT, the Laborers Employers Cooperation Education Trust of the Laborers District Council of Philadelphia and vicinity.
Local 332, Sam Staten Jr. Business Manager. Local 57, Esteban Vera Business Manager. Local 135, Dan Woodall Jr. Business Manager. Local 413, James Harper Jr. Business Manager. The Laborers District Council, Ryan Boyer Business Manager, and Tony Staten, Executive Director of LESIT.
The WURD Radio Newsletter, keeping you informed, engaged, and connected. Sign up by visiting WURDradio.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page and type your email address under Connect with Us. You'll receive the latest information on WURD Radio, messages from our President and CEO, Sarah Lomax Reese, exclusive articles and multimedia content, and resources. Stay informed with the WURD Radio Newsletter.
Enterprise Exterminators, located 4943 Wayne Avenue, specializing in lantern flies, termites, bed bugs, fleas, mice, and roaches. Do-it-yourself kits are available. Call now, 215-849-7070.
Want to buy black for the holidays? WURD Radio has got you covered. WURD is proud to present our virtual holiday marketplace online. Support local, small, black-owned businesses through the marketplace and purchase your holiday gifts today. Visit WURDradio.com/marketplace or WURDworks.com/marketplace.
Wishing you and yours the very best this holiday season from the entire WURD family. This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia.
Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app. Progressive and proud.
Independent Black Media. It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on WURD Radio,
96.1 FM
and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with WURD. I think, the whole Vanessa Bryant thing with her mother, man, is really bothering me. I think that, I would give my mother the world if I had it. You know what I mean? Because she's done so much for me and continues to, right? It would never get to the point where it was in court. Like, and let me just say that my mother would never do that. Never, under any circumstances, man. And so it's like, I can't imagine somebody's mom, right, going to court like, look, I'm going to tell you what I want, right? First, she went to the media. Then she went to court through an intermediary. Right, and said, I want $5 million, I want a new house, and I want a Mercedes SUV. Not a Volvo, not a BMW, not a Porsche. I want a Mercedes SUV. All right? And, I just think it's ugly. Even if she got it, because when Kobe Bryant died, his net worth was around $600 million, right? That goes to his wife. And so, it's the principle. To me, it's the principle of it. You work that stuff out in-house, man, and you don't get to the point where you so greedy and selfish that you like, nah, give me this. And not only give me this, I'm going to put it in a lawsuit and publicly try to shame you into giving me this. I just think it's ugly. But I can't imagine it, man. I cannot imagine that. Kawesa, what do you think?
Yeah, I can't imagine it either. I really can't. I know that in the past, Kobe had issues with his own parents, and, Vanessa had issues with her mom as well. And so I first and foremost want to say that I cannot speak to their relationship, because if it's a type of situation where, all parties involved are toxic, then I can understand to an extent. But I am so glad and so grateful and blessed that I don't have to understand that. You know, the relationship that my mom has sacrificed so very much. She really has, you know, and if I, and just like you said, like if I could give my mom the world, I would, you know. I'm still mad that, you know, she's still working, and I can't, you know, we can't make it so that she doesn't have to work. We're just not at that point yet, my brother and I. But, you know, I could never imagine having this type of relationship with my mother, because she has given my brother and I the world. She really, really has. And even when it was out of reach, she still managed to, you know, get the world for us and make sure that we knew that we were capable of anything and everything. And so I can't imagine what they could be going through. I can't, and I'm glad that I can't. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. But, you know, to have that type of relationship with your parents, I can't even imagine what it is that they were going through to even get to this point.
Yeah. Okay, Ma, here's a BMW SUV. No, I said Mercedes.
Wow.
Like, wait, what?
No.
Wait a minute, what? I mean, it's crazy. And, you know, I mean, I have been through the ringer. I have lived on the streets. I have been through an addiction. You know, I know that I worried my mother to death. But thank God, you know, we are able to come out on the other side, man, and the love after going through something like that is just, you know, it's incalculable, right? And so, you know, my mother wouldn't have to ask me, here's the $5 million, here's a house, what kind of SUV you want? You know, and then here's the other thing, right? If I was trying to give that stuff to my mother, she'd be like, oh, no, I don't want it. No, it's all right. Just keep that. No, you know what I mean? I would have to force it on. I would have to sneak it. All right, here's this stuff. Just put it in my mother's name. Just don't, you know what I mean? Because she's not greedy like that. So I don't, I don't get it. I don't get it, right? It's hard for me to understand this. But what I would like to convey to us is that there is nothing more important. There is nothing more valuable. There is nothing that matters more, man, than your family, than the people who love you, than the people that you love. And if you love money more than those people, then eventually that's going to come back to bite you. Not them, you, right? Because the love of money is the root of all evil. And so, you know, if you want to be consumed by evil, then love money more than you love your mother. Love money more than you love your wife, your husband, your brother, right? Your family, the people who you would not be here without them. Love money more than them and see what happens. Now, I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Because guess what? When you're on your deathbed, money ain't going to hold your hand. Money ain't going to sit there and pray with you. Money is not going to love you through your most difficult moments in life. Money is not going to pray for you when you out on the street homeless, right? And so, you know, the whole I love money more than I love my people is crazy to me. I can't even relate to it. So I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Derek from North Philly is on line one. Go ahead, Derek.
Good morning, Brother Solomon. Love, peace, blessings, and prosperity.
Same to you.
Thank you, Solomon. Solomon, it just seems when this case first broke during that tragic time of the Bryants, I just shook my head because I knew it was sad from the beginning. And, you know, my opinion on this matter is that what happened to honor thy parents? You know, as to say, sometimes our parents are wrong, but most of the time they're right. Mm-hmm. And so in honoring our parents, if it's not going to break a law or put us in physical in bad for our health or something like that, what would be the point not to make peace with your parent or keep peace? I can almost bet that Kobe Bryant's parents probably said those same words that you said. Watch what happens when you put money. And I'm sure Kobe's mother-in-law saw how Kobe's approach was to his parents through his wife as well as his own, Kobe making his own mind up. So maybe she jumped out real front because she knew what was happening, because she knew her daughter. She knew her daughter influence over Kobe, how it affected his parents, and his parents probably said the same thing. Well, you chose money, and we put you through this, and this, that, and other. So I really don't like to talk about this because it's just bad. But I'm going to stand on this: honor our parents.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Shaquille from the Northeast is online too, and don't forget the second half of that: honor your parents, honor your father and mother, so your days will be long on the earth. Don't forget that, right? Because that's what it says. Shaquille from the Northeast is online too. Go ahead, Shaquille.
Good morning, Solomon. How are you doing? Blessings to you.
Thank you.
I love what you just said. The Bible does say, honor your mother and your father, and your days will be long on earth. And it also says that fathers do not provoke your sons to anger. You know, I love that you stand for righteousness. We know you're not perfect, but I love that you're lifting up the African American community.
Thank you.
Not just African American, but us as brothers need to take an example from you.
Oh, thank you, Shaquille. I appreciate that.
Man, and I got mad respect for you.
Thank you, man. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Not too many people give men compliments like that, because a lot of times you see in the media, we're portrayed as, they try to portray us as animals, but we're more than that. We are better than that. And if we can lead by example, we can show these young bucks that there's a better way to go. You don't have to pick up a gun. You don't got to go fight and disrespecting your elders. You may not agree on everything, but at least you can sit down and talk to them.
I agree.
And that's what I
agree.
love. That's why I love Man Up PHL. I joined one of your sections on Facebook. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
So much. Thank you for letting me sign up. Thank you, my mom, for encouraging me to sign up. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shaquille, and we hope to continue to see you, brother. And we appreciate you and appreciate those sentiments. So thank you for sharing that this morning. It makes me feel really, really, really good, man. I appreciate it. Gary from Chester is online for 3. Go ahead, Gary.
Simon Jones, thank you for taking my call. Simon Jones, I also like to give you some accolades of being one of the greatest writers of your time. And
thank you, brother.
Now, Solomon, here's why I got a problem with the Kobe thing, and just hear me out. You know, if he worked at FedEx, what you want? I'm just asking the question. If he was a guy who worked at FedEx and he took care of his kids and he died, I'd like to know what everybody wants now. It's all because of the billions of dollars thing that everybody won everything. Because if he was just fly the family store everyday people, man, what would you want then? What would everybody want then? Because me personally, I get her a car, right? She'd go down Frankfurt. We get her a car down Frankfurt. Thanks for taking my call.
All right, Gary. Thanks. One of them $2,000 joints is going to run for about a week. I'm saying you better enjoy it while it's still running. 215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in. Let's go to Mike from West Philly on line 4. Go ahead, Mike.
How you doing? And that last caller kind of touches on what I was going to say. You know, everyone is a little upset with Vanessa Bryant or whatever, but there's a lot of, I'm sure, inner workings. I have family, and you don't know the things that go on. A lot of people, the public, may not know how long. Let's say, for an example, they were taking care of that mother, her mother, I should say. There's a lot of inner workings that people may not be aware of, and so I understand honor our mother, our father, but everything has its limits. Everyone has a limit. And
You're right.
So I don't think we should just automatically write off Vanessa Bryant as the wrong person in this situation. And I don't think we should write off the mother as the situation. Some situations, I always say, most situations, most people are a little bit right and a little bit wrong. Very rarely is someone, I've learned in my life, is someone all the way right or someone's all the way right. Most situations, both sides, there's a point, there's a gray area, you know what I mean? But I do think, now I will say this, the $5 million just sounds astronomical. And a house and a Benz. You don't want to take the $5 million and buy your house and a Benz. You want the $5 million and a house and a Benz.
Right.
Just like the last caller said, you only asked him for that amount because he wasn't a FedEx worker. You specifically asked him for that amount because you know she got it. She got that bank. And so I think we should just wait for the fact, if it matters to people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it matters that much to people, wait for the facts, you know, because I'm sure it's two sides to a point, man. Thanks for my call.
Yeah, no doubt. And I want to thank you, Mike, for your call this morning on WURD. For me, the point is not even them. The point is us. The point is, what are we willing to do, right? In order to take care of the people that we love, and how are we operating from a morality standpoint, right? Because, you know, one of the things that we talked about, ironically, in a previous Man Up PHL session, was that men have to stand for something, right? And so what is your moral base, right? Is it your faith? And what does your faith say? Is it, you know, what your parents taught you? Like, what are your do's and don'ts? What are the lines that you won't cross, right? Because we have to understand, I think, one of the most important things from a moral standpoint is that the people you love come before the property that you have or the property that you want. Like, you know, the people you love have to come before all of that, man. It has to come before all of that. Let's go to Jim from West Philly on line 1. Go ahead, Jim.
Well, one of the things is I wish I did have a mother or father still living that I could do something for. Money, I mean, like, if you just call it like a state of 600 million or even 100 million, what is $5 million? Give it to her. You know, you shouldn't even think about it. Just give it to her, indulge her. I mean, what is it going to mean to you financially? Nothing. You should just, you know, I don't know why people value money like that. I know that if I ever hit the lottery, the big lottery, all of my friends, all of my acquaintances, people I've known, all my kids, grandkids, each one going to get $1 million because I want to see what you would do with it. If you really had a chance in life to get the first base, what would you do with it? Give people a chance and get the enjoyment from seeing what's done with it. Like that show they used to have, The Millionaire, showing people what they would do with money. I mean, people just put the wrong value on money. How good can you live? How much can you eat? What kind of car can you drive? Then you still got millions and millions left. What? So that's just my comment.
All right, Jim, I want to thank you for your comment this morning on WURD. Let's go to Jerry from West Philly on line 2. Go ahead, Jerry.
Hi. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Have a good weekend. Okay. The thing, because I came in late when I heard it, but the thing about it is that as a parent, I don't think that you feel that you're entitled to receive anything. Let the child decide to give you that. That's what happened with a lot of the Hollywood stars. The parents were stealing the money.
Yeah.
And finally, they had to set up some rules and regulations to make sure that their child, when they grow up, they don't be bankrupt. Because some of the parents got greedy.
Yeah.
And it's a shame
that did happen.
that, you know, that Vanessa, now let me get this straight. Vanessa's mother is the one that's asking for these things, not Kobe's, right?
Right.
Okay, because some people had it all wrong. Yeah, but it's Vanessa's mother that is requesting these things. And and to me, that's being greedy. I mean, really, because she has children that she has to raise. And I think that, you know, I'm sure that she's been giving her something all along. But for you to take your child to court to demand these things, that's really over the top. I mean, I was like, are you serious? So, you know, I think that she needs some prayer, and she, you know, because it's been happening.
Yeah.
I forgot her name, the one that married Prince Charles. Is it Charles?
She married Prince Charles. You talking about Diana, Princess Diana?
No,
Back in the day. You talking about now? She married. Oh God, not
Meghan,
Prince Harry.
Meghan
You talking about Meghan Markle?
The woodwork and did the same thing, and the sister too. So
Yeah, her father was. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. That was crazy. Jerry, I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD Radio. We got to go to break. On the other side, we're going to talk with our next guest. I know we got a caller on the line. I'm going to ask him to call back after that segment. And our next guest is David Lapp. He's the Director of Policy Research at Research for Action. And so we're going to go to break. On the other side, we're going to talk to him, and then it's right back to your calls. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
COVID-19 affected many things this year, including regular vaccinations. Vaccines are safe, effective, and protect against serious diseases. Make sure you and your family are up to date on all vaccinations. Together, we can keep each other safe and healthy. Let's stay protected together. Get vaccinated today. For more information, visit health.pa.gov. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Hi, this is Jeff Brown from Brown's Family ShopRites and Fresh Grocers. Are you thinking about a part-time job to help out with the cost of the holidays? We have plenty of openings. You can apply online at shoprite.com/careers or freshgrocer.com/careers. Come join the Brown family today and help us serve the people of Philadelphia. Have a great holiday.
I'm Councilman Kenyatta Johnson. Please stay home to stop the spread of COVID-19. The more people stay home and social distance, the more chance we have to stop the spread. We know everybody can't stay home all the time. If you work a job that's essential or you need to go grocery shopping or get medical care, please maintain your social distance of 6 feet. Wear a mask to cover your face. This is hard on everybody, but we have to work together. Stop the spread, stay home, save lives. For more information, visit www.phila.gov/COVID-19.
Want to buy black for the holidays?
WURD Radio has got you covered. WURD is proud to present our virtual holiday marketplace online. Support local, small, black-owned businesses through the marketplace and purchase your holiday gifts today. Visit wordradio.com/marketplace or wordworks.com/marketplace.
I'm Joey T., the music philosopher, WRD.
WURD Radio mourns the passing and celebrates the life of radio veteran, host of Message in the Music, and WURD family member, Joey Temple.
Folks here are family, and that's how I want to leave it, as family.
As a staple of WURD, on air and off, Joey was one of WURD's greatest cheerleaders and most loyal members, who was very passionate about what and who he believed in.
See what I got on, I represent. I fight for the people who suffer through the mental health conditions, and I also fight for the young brothers on the corner, because a lot of times people don't understand the young people on the corner.
Joey leaves us all with many fantastic memories, a tremendous appreciation for our history and culture, and a void that cannot be filled. From the entire WURD family, thank you, Joey Temple.
You're waking up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones. Good morning. Right now on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. I'm going to welcome you back to Wake Up with WURD. Joining us now is David Lapp. He's the Director of Policy Research at Research for Action, where he oversees a range of projects at the nexus of education, research, and policy. So he's got a new report out on the number of teachers of color in Pennsylvania school districts. David Lapp, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Solomon. It's my pleasure and honor to be with you. Thank you.
Good, good. So tell us about teacher diversity in Pennsylvania. Where have we come from in terms of teacher diversity, and where are we now according to your report?
Sure. Thank you. So there's been a lot of attention in recent years, well-deserved attention, about the fact that Pennsylvania has one of the biggest gaps in the country between the percentage of our students who are students of color and our percentage of our teachers who are teachers of color. And unfortunately, what we're finding in our report is that over the last 7 years, the gap has actually grown bigger. So today there are about 35% of our students across Pennsylvania are students of color, but only 6% of our teachers are teachers of color. So that's sort of the big takeaway from what we found.
Now, I'd like to know some of the reasons behind that, because I think there have to be a variety of reasons that is the case.
For sure. So we did a report in 2018 that explored that question, and we called it Patching the Leaky Pipeline. And we went through basically and looked at the fact that, okay, you start with 35% of our students of color, and then you go graduation from high school. And we're seeing leaks all along that pipeline. We're seeing fewer students of color graduating from high school, fewer students of color then entering into college, fewer students of color completing teacher prep programs, and then fewer of them entering teaching, and then fewer of them being retained in teaching. So we have leaks happening all along that pipeline, and we're seeing our state policymakers, our schools, our teacher prep programs, all aren't doing as good a job as they need to in order to be sure that we have sufficient teachers of color in our classrooms, because we know the research has been really clear that there's a tremendous benefit to students, particularly students of color, but really to all students, how important it is to have a diverse teacher body, diverse perspectives, exposure to different cultures and different perspectives in the classroom. It's really beneficial to students.
And so has there been any effort to recruit more teachers of color in Pennsylvania?
There has, and there's really tremendous work happening by a number of really just inspiring leaders in Philadelphia and across the state. Sharif El-Mekki is a former principal of Mastery Shoemaker High School. He started an organization called for Black Educators, and has also been leading a fellowship of Black male educators. And one thing that's interesting in the data that we found is that while male teachers in general, men teachers, have declined over the last 7 years by about 500 teachers. But there's been an increase in the number of Black male teachers in Pennsylvania by about 123. So that shows that the work that Sharif and a number of others are doing is actually paying off in a positive way. It's not enough. We need to do more, but they're definitely being effective. There's also, we should give some attention. The state has been paying attention to this. There's a program through the state called Aspire to Educate that recruits students to enter into teacher prep programs, provides programs, resources to offset some of the cost of that. But again, we're seeing that it's not, this is a fairly new initiative, and hopefully they'll have more impact over, because there's a big gap to make up.
So when you look at the state of Pennsylvania, there are some places where there are large concentrations of African Americans, other people of color, places like Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. But there are a lot of places where there aren't any people of color, or very few. And you looked at, I think, this thing on a county by county basis. What did you find in terms of Black or brown teachers in places where there weren't a lot of Black or brown students?
Right. It's a great question. I want to give a shout out first before I answer that, because this work really wouldn't have happened without the great work of a journalist, Sojourner Ahibe, who is working with WHYY and the program called Keystone Crossroads. They did a records request that got this data. So one thing I want to just flag is that while we know all kinds of things about student demographics, right? We know about race, we know about disability, their poverty status, their disability. We know all kinds of stuff about students. We don't know very much about teachers because the state doesn't publish data about that. But Sojourner did a records request, and then we collaborated with her to help clean the data and make it available. And I would just encourage listeners, if you go to our website, researchforaction.org/PACER, P-A-C-E-R, you can download the data yourself and explore it. And we really encourage people to do that, because while we did some analysis, there's a lot to unpack in there that I'm sure your listeners would find more from. But to your question, yeah, it's some bleak news out there for students, because there's over 50% of schools, half of the schools in Pennsylvania have 0 teachers of color. Mm-hmm. There's over 1,000 schools in Pennsylvania that haven't had a single non-white teacher for over 7 years. And that's all that we don't, it could be longer, but that's all we have available. Mm-hmm. And 37% of school districts, there's 500 school districts, over 130 of them haven't had a teacher of color. This is a real crisis, and you know, we've done a lot to talk about at our organization to look at gaps in opportunity, gaps in like what kinds of educational opportunities students receive, and this is another kind of opportunity. The opportunity to have a diverse teaching body is important, and we're denying that opportunity to a lot of students. There's a lot of students of color in those schools. Those 1,000 students, we think, you know, there's a lot of Pennsylvania has a lot of really white schools, but in those schools, there's 15% of the student body are students of color, and they're not ever getting a teacher that looks like them or comes from a culture similar to them.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious about the hiring processes. So we know that black college graduates, just like any college graduate, you know, you have a lot of choices. And I'm curious about the hiring processes. We talked a little bit about the state recruiting. What are the hiring processes like? Have you found any of that in any of your research around this question of black teachers, black and brown teachers?
I think it's a great question. I think it's one that we need to do more research around. I don't have an answer to you about that question. You know, again, we did see. This is one of the big issues, is that we don't know much about this. There's a bit of a black box, so to speak, about what's happening in the hiring process and the retention process around that. There is research that shows that retention is one of the biggest problems that school districts are not doing, and schools are not doing a good enough job at keeping teachers that enter into, teachers of color that enter into the profession. And so there's a researcher at University of Pennsylvania who has done a lot of research and found that the retention process is one of the bigger areas in need of attention. Mm.
Yeah. So we are talking with David Lapp from Research for Action, and we're talking about the limited number of teachers of color in Pennsylvania's school district. So I asked about the hiring processes because, you know, I've lived in this state all my life. I've had the opportunity to drive across the state and to visit different parts of the state. There are places in Pennsylvania that where there are, frankly, Confederate flags flying and that sort of thing. And so I wonder about the role of racism, and I don't know if that's something you can quantify with numbers, but was there any indication of any of that in your research?
I mean, it's all quantifiable in that, yes, even in our whitest communities in Pennsylvania, we're still seeing a big gap. There's still some students of color in those communities, and they're not reflecting that in their teaching body. So there is an issue there. There was, I will say, in our past report, you know, one really promising program that has been implemented in other parts of the country are teacher residency programs, where and where cohorts of teachers are brought in together. So, you know, it could be intimidating or a difficult process to become, you know, to enter a school system and be the only teacher of color, the only black teacher, the only Hispanic teacher in an entire school system, where there's programs that are trying to say, well, let's bring in a cohort, let's bring in more than one at a time. Let's create some collegiality amongst our teachers and ensure that they feel like this is the place that they're welcome. And the story the data is telling us is that school districts aren't doing that well enough.
All right. Well, that's David Lapp. He's the Director of Policy Research at Research for Action. And their latest report is available for you to peruse. Where can we find this report, Teacher Diversity in Pennsylvania, from 2013 to 2014 and 2019 to 2020?
So on our website, www.researchforaction.org, all one word, the easiest way to find it is if you go to researchforaction.org/PACER. That's PACER, and that stands for the Pennsylvania Clearinghouse for Education Research. That's the project that this report was done under. So researchforaction.org/PACER is where you can find that report and our previous reports related to this topic and other topics that your listeners might be interested in.
All right. All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us. That's David Lapp. He's Director of Policy Research at Research for Action. Thanks so much for joining us this morning on WURD.
My pleasure, and thank you so much for your attention to this issue. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So we got a couple of minutes. We can take your calls at 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That's the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning's show. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in. You can also hit us on Facebook at 4WURD. That's FORWURD, FORWURD. Let us know where you are in these various things we're talking about on this morning's show. Kawesa, what are they saying this morning on Facebook?
So we do have a few comments here, a lot of it in reference to Kobe as well, but Viola Richburg Gray, my children have jobs and they can buy whatever they want. I can give them a meal if they are not hungry. If they are hungry, but I told them I cannot pay their bills. I would give anything to spend one day again with my husband, my mother, and my Nana. So that is one comment that we have here. Doris Clark says, good morning. I think Vanessa's mother should write a tell-all book about Kobe and Vanessa and make her own money. Have a blessed day. Please don't. And then we have Lean Love. Encourage our children to become inventors and masters of technology and internet security. Dolores Davis is saying, yes, that is what is coming. That is what is coming to robots will be doing most of the work. They're going to have to know how to program them and repair them. Not saying robots are taking over, but there will be a lot of them. So that's another comment. I know a few other people had weighed in a little bit earlier in regards to, I believe, when Akbar was on as well, just talking about the fact that, I'm trying to pull it up. Here we go. Raphael Suleiman says, great advice, Mr. Akbar Hassan. Black parents have to really parent in this age of computer games and game consoles that cost $500 or more. Buy your kids some books and teach them how to play a classic game like chess. The thinking games develop your mind, which you will need in this new age that we are entering, especially black folks. They definitely need to implant these skills into their children. So that's one comment. And then also, Geraldine Mayfield says, take them to feed the homeless in regards to those kids who want, those gaming consoles. John Wade says, be honest with your kids. Tell them if you want that PS5, you have to work for it. And then Gail Robinson says, great info, Akbar. As usual, don't go into debt. So those are just some additional comments that we have on our page here.
All right. So we are going to go to break. And on the other side of this break, we're going to do what's trending, the hot stories that are happening across social media today. So I'm Solomon Jones. This is WURD Radio. We'll be right back.
With Internet Essentials from Comcast for only $9.95 a month, you get more. High-speed home internet service, included. Peace of mind with XFi Advanced Security, included. Access to millions of XFi Wi-Fi hotspots, that's included too. Internet Essentials from Comcast brings you affordable, high-speed internet to your home for only $9.95 a month. When you're connected, you're ready for anything. Visit InternetEssentials.com for more information. Taxes extra. Restrictions apply.
This message is from the Philadelphia Department of Public Health. COVID-19 is still a threat in our communities, but we can all do something simple to help stop the spread. It's critically important to wear a mask or face covering whenever you're in public or around others. Yes, even while social distancing. Wearing a mask shows you care for yourself and your community and is essential to slowing the spread of COVID-19. So love yourself, love your neighbors, wear a mask.
Have you thought about your Christmas Day or New Year's Day dinner? Contact Eatable Delights Catering for one of their scrumptious packages. Call for the fire roasted chestnut, the Natalie Cole, or the Arizona Special. They can cater for you for as little as 4 people. 215-236-3900 or stop in at 1540 Wadsworth Avenue. Order by December 21st for pickup and order for delivery by December 24th and December 25th. That's 215-236-3900.
Monday through Thursday, keep it locked to WURD Radio. At 6 a.m., start your day with the Power Hour, hosted by Bishop Dwayne Royster and Reverend Mark Kelly Tyler. At 7, it's Wake Up with WURD with Solomon Jones. At 10 a.m., it's Reality Check with Charles Ellison. Then at 1 p.m., it's The Source, hosted by Andrea Lawful Sanders on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and the Black Women's Leadership Council on Wednesdays. At 4 p.m., it's Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. Then at 7, it's Save Space with Sincerely Sarita. At 9 p.m., round up your day with Keeping It Real with the Reverend Al Sharpton. Keep your dial locked to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app. Or watch live on WURD TV via Facebook and YouTube. WURD Radio. Independent Black Media. It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Here's what's trending.
Yo, that's crazy.
On Wake Up with WURD.
Tropicana apologized for a star-studded social media campaign that suggested alcohol was the antidote to parenting in the pandemic. Part of their statement says, while we believe we were bringing the hashtag Take a Moment program to life in the right way, we hear the feedback for some, we've missed the mark. Accordingly, we're ceasing any further activity in support of the campaign.
And President-elect Joe Biden is poised to nominate Michael Reagan of North Carolina to run the EPA. Reagan runs the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality. If confirmed by the U.S. Senate, Reagan would be the first African-American to lead the Environmental Protection Agency.
And Michael B. Jordan has announced a basketball showcase that will feature 4 of the top Division I HBCU men's and women's basketball programs in the country. The Hoop Dreams Classic, which is going down today at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, will not only provide resources for student athletes, but will create an immersive cultural experience that will celebrate HBCU life. And that is what's trending.
All right, so that's what's trending right here on WURD Radio. And we want to hear from you, so you could certainly give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Jacob from Almy is on line 1. Go ahead, Jacob.
Hey, peace be unto you, Brother Solomon.
Same to you.
You know, Solomon, I heard about King Solomon's gold, but I'm thankful to God that we have a Solomon that just pure gold, right? Because the things that you give us, you know what I mean? The things that you give us, the things that we, we hear from you. And I'm proud to be a foot soldier in Man Up. You know what I mean?
Thank you, Jacob.
If you put the call out, I'm going to be in the house, God willing, the creek don't rise, you know. But, it's almost listening to this Kobe Bryant thing, it's really pitiful. Man, it shows we got to keep praying for people with mindsets like that. I don't care who it is, right? Even Kobe ain't here to enjoy his money, right? If I was to demand $10 million from a family member and 5 houses, am I assured that I'm going to be here tomorrow to enjoy it?
Exactly.
Look, in my book, the Quran, God said you're going to be tested. Some of you are going to be tested with wealth, and some of you are going to be tested with poverty, right? And you know, the Bible says the poor will always be among us, right? But to whom much is given, you know, much is expected, right?
Yeah,
Jesus,
that's true.
I don't even want to. When Jesus, I read where Jesus said it would be harder for a rich man to get to paradise than for the camel to pass through the eye of a needle, right? Now, see, I'm weighing that against having a, but one thing I like, and I see that's a beautiful thing in human beings today, Warren Buffett, one of the richest men on the planet, they asked him, why are you giving hundreds of millions of your dollars away, right? He said, because I want to go to heaven, right? You know, so the understanding of, you know, to whom much is given, you know, you got to, if the rich people was to pay their taxes like they were supposed to.
How about that?
I mean,
How about
we
that?
could have this thing settled, but bottom line is we got to keep praying because we know we on the winning side, right, Solomon? Keep on being gold, brother. Peace.
I hear you, man. Thank you, Jacob. I appreciate your call this morning on WURD. Sarah from, Diane from South Philly is on line 3. Go ahead, Diane.
Good morning, Solomon.
Good morning.
Sound like you're still celebrating your birthday, and you need to. You're supposed to do that.
Okay.
Solomon, I'm gonna make a point. There's 3 sides to the story. His side that we'll never hear, her side, and then the truth. One time this happened, my mother put me out the house because I wouldn't give her half of my paycheck, $44.09 working down at the naval base. It changed our relationship, but eventually we got it back because you know what? I was the last one to see her before she closed her eyes, okay? But my point is that what was the agreement with Vanessa and Kobe and the mother? Because it sounded like she was accustomed to being taken care of. Number 2, do they have a contract? And number 3, you know something no one mentioned? What effect this is going to have on the grandchildren? How are they going to look up to their grandmother? They're looking at $5 million. I can buy a Mercedes for Mia and Sugar Lady, and then a house. I don't need an additional house and then a Mercedes. That sounds like somebody was accustomed to being taken care of. Did she take care of the grandkids? Is this something that went on? Solomon, this is the worst to start the weekend off.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Black kicking with black. This is the worst. It's nothing, and you got me on before Jacob. After Jacob. He made the point so clear. I love Brother Jacob. I don't know him, but I love him.
Me too.
Yes, but Solomon, I hope that God puts pedals in their footsteps to guide them to something that's sacred and erase all this animosity and hate and devil worshiping and putting money in front of love. That's what this is.
Yeah, that's what it is. I want to thank you, Diane, for your call this morning on WURD. We certainly appreciate you. Let's go to Sarah from North Philly on line 2. Go ahead, Sarah.
Good morning, King Solomon and Queen Coesa, and happy belated.
Thank you.
Solomon, I am detecting a little mother-like daughter here. It's really not love, because I think they both was in the relationship for the wrong reason. It goes all the way back to prodigal son. You know, when the father just gave his son the money and just let him went on, then, you know, he came back and he really appreciated the father. But I would give my mom the world because she is my girl. The only problem I have here is that the way she's demanding and going about it.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, I hear you, and that's the ugly part about it, and I agree, and I want to thank you for your call this morning. Anthony from Delaware is on line 4. Go ahead, Anthony.
Oh, good morning, Solomon. Solomon,
morning.
It's like you put your enemy in charge of your safety, your system. Trump, Russia put him in. They laid back, and now that they're in those systems, they're in them systems now. It is 10 times worse than they say it is. They got control, or they will have control. They got sleeper things that can wake up after 2 and 3 years. This thing is terrible. It can take the United States down. Bye.
Yeah, I hear you, Anthony, and I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD. I think that, you know, the Russians worked hard to get Donald Trump in. And they did that because they knew that Donald Trump could help them to take America down. I really believe that. You know, he has acted in their interest from day one. And the fact that they have hacked all of these systems and he hasn't said anything speaks volumes, right? The fact that they put a bounty on American troops and he said nothing speaks volumes. The fact that they interfered in the 2016 election, and we clearly have evidence that they did it, and he said nothing speaks volumes. This whole thing, man, it goes back to him. And they knew, because they created like fake websites and stuff for black people. One of them was called Blacktivist. That was created by Russians to try to stoke the racial tensions in America, because they know that those racial tensions are a weakness for America and pits us against each other. If you're pitted against each other, guess what? It's easier for the enemy to come in and take everything. A house divided against itself cannot stand. And so they knew all of that and used Trump to help them do it, man. This, oh my God, he got to get out. He has got to get out, man. And you know, to watch him just let one thing after another happen at the hands of the Russians, and this dude is saying nothing. I said from the beginning, he works for them. Viola from Millsboro, Delaware, is on line one. Go ahead, Viola.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Word family. I'm doing great. Listen, Solomon, I'm thankful that I'm well. All the money in China can't buy health.
That's
right.
right.
You know, when it comes down to the different things that we argue about as far as money is concerned, one year, my children were young, I explained to them what Kwanzaa meant, and we went through the principles of Kwanzaa. But on Christmas morning, I didn't allow them to open up the gifts on Christmas morning, and we opened them up on Kwanzaa. And most of my children had been baptized, and we had believed in Jesus. And I just wanted to show them that Christmas was December the 25th on the calendar, but it's what you believe in all year long. People go in debt just for one day and wake up the next morning and have all these bills to pay, and they have what they want, but they can't afford to pay for them. And I just feel as though that I did that more so as a technique of showing them that it didn't make a difference if they opened them up on Christmas morning or first day of Kwanzaa. But we explained, my husband didn't really agree with it, but we got through it, you know. And it's a teaching moment. Christmas is just a day on the calendar. If you don't believe in Jesus, it don't matter. And that's all I got to say.
All right, I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD Radio. We appreciate it. Let's go back to the phone lines and talk with Gail from the Northeast on line 2. Go ahead, Gail.
Good morning, Solomon. And
Good morning.
What you said speaks volumes, because you're right. All this that he has allowed happen, it's come to fruition, because this dates back to March with this Russian thing. So you can imagine that he allowed them to do all this to this point. And it's, trust me, it's going to be more to come. It's more to come. But as far as Vanessa and her mother, when you look at all this dating back to when they was the whole selling of the products, and how the mother was very instrumental in all the nonsense that was going on. And the stepfather did try to warn. He said, look, I'm paying her alimony and this. She doesn't need more money. And she kept saying what she needed. It was coming, because it's almost like you knock certain people out of the way, as the old wife said, when you knock certain people out of the way because you want them to be in a box, and it could be more for you than for anybody else. And it's the sad part is chickens coming home to roost. But I tell them they got to believe in Jesus, let it all go, because you can't take it with you. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
All right, I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD. For me, I think regarding Christmas is for me a religious holiday. It is the celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ. We give gifts for a number of reasons. One, because he's the ultimate gift to us, for those who believe, and then to carry out a tradition that is told in the Bible of wise men coming from across the globe in order to give gifts to the baby Jesus. And so we celebrate that, and that is our celebration. But it is a religious celebration for me, not a cultural celebration, and it's a chance to show love to those who I care about and who care about me. So we appreciate that, and we appreciate each and every one of you calling in this morning, and that's going to do it for today's show. And so I want to thank all of our guests, including, David Lapp from the Research for Action, Akbar Hassan, of course, personal financial advisor, and Taylor Allen from Plan Philly. And now for super producer Kawesa Mathis and everyone here at WURD Radio, I am your host, Solomon Jones, saying stay tuned for The Source with Tiffany Bacon, and tune in Monday at 7 for more Wake Up with Word. Peace.